Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I am Josh.
I'm John.
And we are here with episode 21. That's right, episode 21 in the year 2021.
Hell yeah.
Right. Works out pretty nice that way. I like it. So, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Some sad news. We're going to do some pay-per-view catch-up. Yeah, we were kind of off for a few weeks of the holidays and whatnot, so we didn't get a chance to talk about TLC, but we're going to break it down for you. And we're also going to talk the Slammies, and we're going to talk about some other news happening in the world of wrestling. So I feel we should start things off on that bit of a somber note, kind of just get it all out there. Just recently, I think it was on the 26th, I think it was the day after Christmas, wrestling legend to me, I'm sure to John as well, Jon Huber, also known as Brodie Lee, also known as Luke Harper, passed away. He was only 41 years old. He had apparently some lung issues that were not COVID-19 related, and it apparently came on fairly quickly, and it's tragic. And John, I wanted to get your initial thoughts, just some thoughts on John or Brodie, however you want to refer to him as. Give your thoughts.
Well, first, I thought it was a joke. I mean, that's a hell of a joke to play on somebody, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that such a wise man, such a dedicated man to his family and his friends, and he's just I'm still trying to figure out how he's not here anymore, because it's sad. I've spent the week just kind of watching old Brodie clips and trying to figure out I mean, he's had such an impact on every person's life that he's ever touched. Big, small. I mean, you could have met the man for 2 minutes and you're going to walk away going, damn, that's one great guy right there.
Yeah. Yeah, like you, I've the last several days, week or so, I've been watching a lot of stuff, whether it be clips of matches or several different tribute videos that I've seen. I mean, WWE did one, AEW did one, and some various indie feds also put out, some of their own as well. And just seeing all this footage, hearing him just kind of talk about his life, talk about his family, being from Rochester. Me and you are from that area, out there. I mean, you were born in Rochester, for crying out loud, so it hits home because he's from our area, and so it hits harder, I feel like, than a typical kind of fan or whatever. And we've met him a few times. Actually, one of our friends, Big Pun, him, John, great guy, posted a photo that I was like, I gotta save this one. I loved it. Just a great image of Brodie just kicking some shit over here, and I loved it. This is a great one. And man, he's such. I didn't get to talk to him much, but he was just such a down to earth, nice guy. Welcoming. And that's what I remember about him,
Always.
And it's just, it kind of tore me up when I heard about it. Yeah. Like you, I was like, is this fucking fake? And if this is fake, this ain't funny. You know what I mean? And as soon as I realized that it was not a joke, I contacted you first thing, and it's just, man, it was hard. Just trying to comprehend what happened, and then this past week, AEW did their tribute episode for him. It was a fantastic. I don't know if you got a chance to actually watch it at all.
Not the whole show, but I've seen most of it at this point now.
It was, man, it was great. Every match had a member of the Dark Order, which I thought was cool. Tag matches throughout, and we got a surprise guest here. This moment here made me just break down and cry. I was doing good throughout the whole show, And when Eric Rowan came out with the sign here that says "Goodbye for now, my brother," I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it in. And then Cody Rhodes at the end, giving his speech, that made me break down again. And then you sent me this image specifically. I'd seen, them do this, the scene, I guess you could say, without the
projection.
Without the image in the background. They had his kid and they had Brodie's kid in the ring with his boots next to him. But when you sent me this, I was just, I started tearing up again after you sent me this. And I was like, I gotta put this on the show because it's just such a great image. And as you can see, that title there, AEW has decided to retire that version of the TNT title, in the name of Brodie, which I think is a fantastic kind of gesture from AEW. And that's not the only thing that they did. They signed his kid to an 8-year contract once he turns of age. And not an 8-year. They signed his 8-year-old son to a contract once he turns of age. And I don't know if that's anything that's ever happened before. And so all of this stuff, I just want to get your thoughts on all the stuff that the AEW has been done for the Huber family.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, so one of the small stories that I can tell about Brodie personally, when I first started training, Brodie was the guy that I reached out to about a lot of shit because, Brodie being in the business, he's a big guy. And not like heavy set guy, but he's a tall guy who, he's bigger size. So a couple of my friends were like, hey, if you're going to train and you need gear, the best person to reach out to is Brodie because Brodie knows everything. Brodie's been here. Brodie's been there. Brodie has connections. Brodie can get you shit. So I reached out to Brodie and was like, hey, I wear a 15.5 boot. I need to figure out where the hell to try to get wrestling boots that size that aren't going to break my bank account. And Brodie's like, I got this guy in Mexico. I'll get you his contact information. And so I emailed this guy and he emails me back and I was like, sweet, thank you. Only cost me $100 for a really good pair of boots. I emailed Brodie back and told him that I was really appreciative to him reaching out to me and helping me being just a bitch on the wrestling scene, essentially. I was still putting in my dues. And I remember him being like, hey, everybody's got to pay their dues at some point. At least you're trying to, make yourself look professional. And I was like, yeah, professional. I don't want to be one of those jackasses who works in fucking jeans and a t-shirt. And he responded back with a picture of himself in his big mother trucker gimmick. And I was like, I am so fucking sorry. And he's like, nah, dude, it's cool. He's like, I get it.
And it's funny because I watched one of the tribute type things, and he talked about how that wasn't his idea. And I thought that was really fascinating, that because that's how I knew him.
Oh,
was that look.
I was going to say the first time we saw him was at that 2CW Living on the Edge show. And I mean, he was wearing the gimmick then.
Yeah. I didn't know him as Huber Boy 2 back in the day. Apparently he wrestled as that with MFW, with Maximum Force Wrestling, a fed that we worked for a while there, but in their original original incarnation of MFW before there was that hiatus, and he worked with Dave there as Huber Boy 2. So I thought that was really neat because Dave he posted a picture of because Dave, he likes to make action figures of his people.
He does.
And he shared a picture of his Huber Boy 2 action figure, which I thought was really cool. I should have gotten a picture of that. I totally didn't even think about it, but I thought that was really neat. So seeing him in the jeans and t-shirt or the tank top, that's how I knew him. I didn't know that, so I just assumed that was his thing. But apparently it was not even his idea, which I thought was kind of neat.
I mean, it is. It's definitely an entertaining antidote to who he was. Because I mean, even when we first saw him in the WWE, that is exactly what he was wearing, was the Big Mother Trucker look. They just kind of changed it up a little bit to fit with the whole Bray Wyatt thing.
Yeah. And his name, I love the story behind his name because we are Kevin Smith fans, and it is a tribute to Jason Lee's character of Brodie from Mallrats. And I love that about it. It made me respect him even more knowing that. I thought that was really cool. So, yeah. John, you'll be missed. And, I mean, I don't know. Rest in peace, brother. Like, I don't know. Man, 2020 sucked ass. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
All right. So there's no real easy or good way to transition out of something like that. So we are just going to do it. And we are going to move into some breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe.
Right there. Breaking kayfabe. Not getting crazy with it today. Just breaking kayfabe. So we got a few stories. Not too many stories. We're going to start off. We had a return in NXT recently. Mercedes Martinez returned and took out Io Shirai. So, John, are you a fan of Mercedes? And what are your thoughts on her coming back?
I am a definite fan of Mercedes Martinez. Don't know much of her work. I do know that she is a tough son of a bitch, though. And honestly, I think the product can only get better with her return right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed that NXT is putting a lot of eggs in their basket with their women's division right now. So, I mean, the only thing you can do is make it better by adding a talent like her into the gameplay. So,
yeah. And obviously they see a lot in her if they're letting her go over Io Shirai like that. Io Shirai is one of the top NXT women over there, you know? So, I mean,
isn't she the top of the division right now? She is still the NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, so the fact that they're letting her go over like that shows that they got a lot of faith in her. And so I'm excited to see kind of what they do with her, how they push her over the next few months. We'll see. Sometimes they bring people back, do something, and then they just drop the ball, you know?
Flounder.
So we'll see. Flounder. I barely knew her. All right. So our next story, WWE has announced a Superstar Gaming series featuring Ronda Rousey. It's called SGS Superstar Gaming Series. It will be, I think it started streaming a few days ago, and it's all like video game kind of content. And it will be, like I said, featuring Ronda Rousey. It'll have people like The Miz, Liv Morgan, Adam Cole, Tyler Breeze, Shayna Baszler, and some other people as well in there. Is this something that you're interested in? I know you're not like a huge gamer, but I mean, you do, play wrestling video games and things like that. And like, so I know that I think they did some stuff with the game Among Us. I don't know. I don't think you've ever played it, but I know I have, as well as doing some stuff with the new 2K Battlegrounds. So, is this something that you'd be interested in at all?
So, I mean, essentially, you get to play Superstars.
I don't know how it works. I think it's just like show content. You know, like maybe they're playing it, and so you're just watching the kind of stuff. I'm not 100% sure what all they'll be doing on it. I know like they'll be incorporating up, down, down into this thing, so this whole series. So
I feel like they would have to include up, down, down, because otherwise they're really treading on his territory.
Yeah. Let's see. It says the event. So they did this event on December 29th. The first kind of like opening thing, and it says that celebrities and superstars did battle in games like Among Us and 2K Battlegrounds. Let's see. The event was presented by games media legend Greg Miller, while WWE resident gamer Xavier Woods also appeared as a special guest. And yeah, they did a Best of Up, Down, Down 2020 marathon, and then they did an episode of Superstar Gaming Series, which had the Among Us and 2K Battle. So it looks like it's It's kind of like I don't know if you've ever watched playthrough videos where like you're watching. Yeah, it sounds kind of like that sort of thing. And maybe they'll expand into panel discussions as well. Who knows? I'm not sure how they're gonna. But is gaming content something that you're interested in at all on the network?
Not really.
No. Is this something like would you watch celebrities and WWE superstars play Battlegrounds or other WWE games? Is that something that you would watch? No.
I've watched.
I think I would check it out. I would definitely watch them play Among Us because I think it's hilarious watching other people play that game. I don't know. I think I would check it out. Whether I would stay with it, I don't know, but I'd give it a watch. And it's obviously something that a lot of fans out there are interested in. Otherwise, why would they even bother? You know what I mean? So,
like I said, I mean, I've checked out Up, Up, Down, Down. I like more of the content when Xavier, because I mean, like a lot of Xavier's content on Up, Up, Down, Down is like he brings in a bunch of the people from the WWE and they sit around playing video games, and it's always just hilarious. I've always liked the content more where they're doing other things. Like he did an episode where he did axe throwing. And it's hilarious because they're not in gimmick when they're doing this shit. They get code-named, and then they're there. And I remember it was Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Tyler Breeze was there, and there was some other guy there, but I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. And the one guy he was fucking flawlessly throwing axes. Like, I mean, he acted like he'd been throwing axes for like years.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, God damn, okay. And it's just funny because, I mean, like, you're seeing these people do something like me and you would go axe throwing.
Yeah.
And you don't think about WWE people in their downtime having fun like that.
Yeah.
For some reason,
I would 100% watch stuff like that. Like, I used to watch that one where they were like just driving from venue to venue.
The road stories or ride along.
I used to watch that all the time, and that was hilarious. I loved that. So just like random shit like that. That's the kind of stuff I'm definitely more into.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I understand
we have the like superstars wrestlers have lives outside of the business. So it's always interesting to see like shows like that.
Yeah, and not like the like Total Divas or whatever, where there's obvious script stuff going on in there. I just want, them just doing some fucking regular shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like driving or throwing axes. I mean, I'm down for that. I know that there is a market for video game content. Sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm probably not going to watch much of it, if any, but I'm glad to see them branching out. I'll say that at least. Trying to build a bigger base and bringing different kinds of content to the
Absolutely.
Network. I'll say that.
Trying to keep it fresh.
Yeah. All right. But real quick, the one thing I'm not the biggest fan of, Ronda Rousey. Just saying. I mean,
do you even have to ask my opinion on that one?
Yeah, I'm just like, really? Ronda Rousey? Come on. Anyways. Now, our last story in Breaking Kayfabe is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a sad story, but it's a little bit of a downer story. Wrestling legend Mick Foley has officially tested positive for COVID-19. Says that he's been isolating in his hotel room over the past few weeks since his positive test. Says it happened in December after a virtual signing, but he didn't give any other. Said that he's been in his hotel room for at the point of this article. Let me see if I can find the date, which was yesterday. So he had been isolating in his hotel room for the past 18 days. So today would make it 19 days as we are recording on January 2nd. So, it's just crazy. Hopefully, he recovers without any issues. John, what are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, that's crazy that he contracted COVID. Yeah. I mean, I know it's a serious thing, and I know like people are doing their damnedest to isolate and
some people are.
some. But I mean, like people like Mick Foley. I mean, damn.
Yeah, and I don't want to see another wrestler that I admire, love, pass away, especially not from fucking COVID. You know what I mean? Like this shit is like, wear a fucking mask, people. Just do it. Don't go to giant parties. I read this story about these people who were fucking just having giant, what they were calling COVID parties. And there was like 600 people filtering in and out of these fucking parties, not wearing masks and shit. And I'm just like, right there to every single one of you. You know what I mean? It's just like, stop being idiots. Be responsible. Be respectful. Just wear the damn mask. It isn't that hard. Fucking luchadors do it all the time. Just wear the damn mask. If Rey Mysterio, granted, it doesn't cover his mouth, but still, okay. If Sin Cara can wear a full face mask for like 30 minutes at a time, even you can go to the fucking you can go to the grocery store with a goddamn mask on. I'm just saying. If it makes you feel more interesting, grab a luchador mask. I mean, saying.
Or you be like the Shockmaster and put on a Stormtrooper helmet, but watch where you're stepping because obviously you can fucking fall over.
Oh god, that's what I want to see. I want to see people starting to wear Stormtrooper helmets now, like with masks on the inside, just so you can't actually see anything. And they're just rocking Stormtrooper helmets. I think that'd be hilarious. I would love it, and I would consider wearing one myself. All right. Now we're getting into the main show here. And like we said, you know, it's been a few weeks. Some stuff has gone on since we last talked to all of you. And we had a couple of big things. We had both TLC and the Slammy Awards happen during all of this. Happened right before Christmas. With the holidays and everything going on, we weren't able to do a recording. So we want to cover it all now. Get it in for you. And we are going to start off. We're going to save the best for last. We're going to start off with TLC. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to start off with the Slammies. That's right. The 2020 Slammy Awards, hosted by R-Truth, finally returning over since what, 2015? I think it was the last Slammy Award. And so I'm excited to kind of break down everything that happened during this. So did you get a chance to watch the pre-show?
No.
Because yes, there was a pre-show.
Until you texted me, and at that point I was like, screw it.
Yeah. I had watched all of the main show. Yeah. And I went and was looking because I was trying to figure out who the performance was at the beginning. Because like I recognized the guys, but I was like, I don't know what their names are, which I'll get to when we get there. But when I was looking at, I was like kind of like checking articles about the results to see if somebody mentioned it, and one of them, you know, said that there was a Slammy Award presented during the pre-show. I'm like, the pre-show? I didn't see no fucking pre-show on there, so I just went to Google and searched Slammy Award 2020 pre-show, and boom, there it was, right on YouTube, half-hour pre-show. So I was like, fine, I'll fucking watch it. Really, all it was, they showed some like clips of past Slammies, like going all the way back to the 80s, which I'll be honest was really cool seeing all those. I'd love to go back and watch some of those. They showed some clips like that throughout the main show as well, but they showed a lot more of it during the pre-show, and they gave their predictions. It was Caleb Braxton and the three guys from the Bump, whose names I know. One of them is Evan Mack, and the only reason I know that is because he's one of the guys who was doing that performance in the main show. So like I looked up his name. And they were like giving all their predictions for the winners and stuff. At one point, Miz and Morrison were on screen, kind of talk about how they got snubbed for the Slammies this year. They didn't get nominated for anything. Which, dude, I mean, yeah, like what the fuck? They should have gotten something. At least a nomination.
For tag team.
Something, just anything. There's one that I'll mention later on that I really think that it was an award that had no nominations. It was just awarded to this person. And I think that Miz and Morrison should have gotten a nomination for it because they should have won it, in my opinion. And we'll get to that when we get to that. And then they announced the very first Slammy of the night, which is for most clever 24/7 championship pin. And the winner was Drew Gulak for the time he dressed up as a janitor to beat R-Truth.
Wow.
Yeah. So R-Truth accepted the award on his behalf, but he didn't actually know that it was on his behalf and thought that he was the winner and just took off with the Slammy.
So he pulled an Owen Hart?
Yep, he pulled an Owen Hart, which they showed that clip earlier in the night as well. I believe they also re-showed it during the main show as well. They did. Yeah.
And one of my favorite Owen Hart moments.
What I find funny is I'm pretty sure R-Truth didn't even mention the fact that he just walked off with a Slammy during the main show.
He did not.
You know what I mean? He did not even mention that one little bit. So I was like, okay, it doesn't really... The pre-show and the main show don't really mesh together. So I just thought that was kind of a weird thing for them to do. All right, so then we get into the main show. Like I said, hosted by R-Truth. They were at the WWE Warehouse and Archives, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's an interesting place to hold the Slammy.
Yeah, and they're presented by the free version of the WWE Network. And I've never heard them say that before. I don't know if maybe I've just never noticed it, but hearing them be like, presented by the free version of the WWE Network. I'm like, is this supposed to be like a joke? Like they're just kind of trying to be funny because of it? I just thought it was kind of weird that they said it that way. But and then it starts off with a performance by Josiah Williams and Evan T. Mack. Evan T. Mack is one of the guys on the bump, and Josiah Williams is an on-camera personality on NXT. He also does. He's a musician. He's a rapper and everything. So like he's done work for the WWE and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. It was a cool song. I thought it was neat.
It wasn't a bad song. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I dug it. I just had no idea. Like, and I knew that the one guy, like Evan T. Mack, I didn't know his name. I was like, he looks really familiar, and it's because he's from the bump. That's why. And so we get like inside. Truth is in the ring. He's at his like little podium type thing, whatever, and he's got a bunch of cardboard cutouts of wrestlers in the audience. And first off, I thought that was pretty funny and pretty clever, but the one that really made me laugh was Finn Balor just kind of skulking in the shadows.
It's funny, he references that like a few times.
Oh yeah, and I'm just like, and like they pan over a couple of times, and he's just like set into the back, away from everybody else. And every time they show it, I couldn't help but laugh. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. So before we get into the actual like nominees and everything, what were your thoughts on the opening of everything? And yeah, just curious on your quick thoughts there.
The song wasn't my cup of tea, but it was a good song. I thought R-Truth pointing out the fact that he had the cardboard cutouts at the side, thought that was, like you said, I thought that was a really interesting way to do the crowd, because I know a lot of sporting events have been doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Finn Balor definitely off in the corner I thought was funny, because it could have either been him or the Fiend, who was clearly in the back of everybody.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Taker too. Taker was on the other side, kind of like in the shadows a little bit. Not as much as Finn Balor was, though.
No, but like I said, I love how he pointed it out a couple times too throughout the show. Especially at the end when he's like, Finn, man, you gotta stop being in the corner like that. You're creeping everybody out. Like
Yeah, I love that. All right. So they start off with male superstar of the year. I don't remember what your predictions were, but I do. I don't know if you remember what they are. I'd love
No,
you to tell me.
I threw my predictions away too. I thought about that after.
I think I remember what yours was for this. I have my prediction, so I'm gonna.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Male Superstar of the Year I went with Bray.
Was it Bray? Yeah, I think yes. I think we both went with Bray, because then we changed it for the overall superstar. Yeah, that's right. So the nominees were Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, and The Fiend Bray Wyatt. We both predicted it would be Bray Wyatt, and neither of us were right on that account. It wound up going.
Are you going to ignore the whole presenter side of this?
Oh yeah, hold on. I wrote it down and I totally forgot. It was presented by Shawn Michaels, which I thought was really cool. He apparently, I think he said he's won it the most times.
Yeah,
is that right? Is that what he said? I think that's what he said. That he won this award like the most times of anybody else. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. I loved how they brought in a lot of different people for presenters.
Yeah, especially outsiders.
Yeah, and being able to do this, in a COVID world, I thought they did a good job. I really do.
What I thought was really funny out of the outside presenters, you can definitely tell who's wrestling fans and who's not, because they clearly what was his name? Derek Baker. No, that's not the one.
No, Derek Baker was the kid.
Oh, Clark Duke.
Oh, Clark Duke, yeah.
Yeah. You could clearly tell that dude was a wrestling fan because he's wearing a wrestling t-shirt.
Was it the Nasty Boys? Yeah, I think he had a Nasty Boys shirt on, yeah.
Yep. He was talking about how Miz and Morrison should have been in a category. And he's like, Miz is going to call me now. And
yeah, I thought that was great.
You could clearly, the way he was talking, he's a fan.
Yeah.
I love him. 24/7 championship.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see him just randomly pop up and just pin Truth for that title. I think it would be hilarious.
I mean, I'll say it like this. If Rob Gronkowski can fucking become a 24/7 champion, I have no question in my mind that somebody else in this world, anybody, living or dead, can become the 24/7 champion.
That's true. All right, yeah. So, like I said, Drew McIntyre won Male Superstar of the Year, and I liked how they did the presenting to them. They showed most of the people, just wherever they were, and getting their semis. I liked that because I was curious how they what they were going to do, if they were just going to do that, or if they were actually going to have people there at all. But then obviously once it started, I'm like, it doesn't look like they're going to actually have anybody there other than R-Truth, which was the case. So I liked what they did. So then next up we got some throughout the night. We had various wrestlers kind of giving their memories, their favorite memories of the Slammies. The first one that they did was Bret Hart talking about some of his favorite Slammy memories. I thought that was really cool. What did you think, John?
I agree. I think it was a nice little toss into how some of the people were talking about some of their favorite Slammies. He wasn't one of my favorite ones, but it was okay.
No. I thought it was a nice start. It was nice to see him. I thought that was cool, just in general, to see Bret Hart. Yeah, it was a nice way to kind of involve him in it. So, all right, then we got Ring Gear of the Year. Now, I know for this one, we were on the same page it came to who we thought was going to take this one. So the nominees were
Snooki.
Yeah. Yes, it was presented by Snooki, who, for those youngins who may not remember, was part of the WWE at one time.
She had a moment
over a decade ago. It was a long time ago. So we have for the nominees for Ring Gear of the Year: Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Seth Rollins, The New Day, Bianca Belair, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Carmella. Now, some of these, I'm like, the Ring Gear wasn't all that great. I mean, it was okay, but I love Seth Rollins, but the Ring Gear that they show you at least during the show, I was like, okay, they literally only showed two different versions of Ring Gear for Seth Rollins. I'm just like,
Yep.
that's not ring gear of the year type of material for me. And who's the other one? It was Carmella. Same thing. I think there was only two, and I was just like, and one of them is what she was wearing, like not what she wears now. And I'll be honest, it doesn't work for me because those leg things don't stay up. And I wrote down notes about that. It bothered me a lot. So yeah, definitely was not going to be her.
I think it's funny that our prediction actually won this one.
Yes, the freaking New Day, man. I was so happy that they took home this one, especially after not getting the prediction correct on the first one. I was like, yes, we got our prediction right. Because I was really hoping for the Fiend on that first one, but
I mean, I'm gonna go on the limb and say that a lot of these aren't fan predicted like they said, because I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre getting fucking Superstar of the Year over male Superstar of the Year over someone like Bray Wyatt. Come on, fuck that.
I mean, I love Bray, but you got to look at what he's actually done, because there was a large amount of time where Bray wasn't really doing anything.
That's
true. He didn't do much in between pay-per-views a lot, especially after Mania. Unfortunately, that's just what they were doing. They were building this extremely supernatural thing going on, which I love, but I think it was detrimental to a win for him when it came to that. So next up, we had Return of the Year, and this one was presented by Mick Foley, somebody who we talked about earlier. Love Mick Foley.
I love Mick Foley.
And yet again, our prediction came true. So nominees for Return of the Year were Edge, Roman Reigns, MVP, Goldberg, and Sami Zayn. Both you and I predicted Edge, and Edge took it home.
He did indeed.
Though he did not accept his award.
No, and I thought that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I don't know why he couldn't.
If Mick was, there's one of two things that are going on in my head. Either they're still filming up a little bit of what's left of Vikings,
yeah,
or he's seriously training to get himself back.
Yeah, but he couldn't stop for 5 minutes, not even to just take his award, say thanks, and then go back to train it. I don't know. It just seems a little.
I don't know. That's what makes me think maybe he was actually filming, because most of the time when you're on a set like that, you can't even have filming in there. So
that I could totally understand. But yeah, I was sad because I was like, yes, Edge won, and I was excited to see him accept his award, and then we didn't get to see that. I was like, oh fuck, that kind of sucked, man, because I really was looking forward to that. But I mean, shit happens, I guess. Then we got Todd Pettengill. He showcased his top 5 moments from Slammy's past. Todd Pettengill, for those of you who don't know, he worked WWE long time ago. He hosted several of the Slammys back in the 80s and whatnot, and they showed a lot of his. He actually, I think 2 of his picks were from Slammys that he hosted, which I thought was really funny. So yeah, what did you think?
He was a huge personality in the 90s.
Yeah, he was. So what did you think of his picks? Any of them that stood out to you at all?
Not really. I mean, I remember the Owen Hart one. Like I said, I remember Owen Hart's like it was yesterday. And that just made me funny because I never realized that Owen Hart didn't actually win the slamming. I just remember for a long time Owen carrying around 2 Slammys, and he would brag that he was a 2-time Slammy winner. And I didn't realize that one of those Slammys wasn't an actual win. It was a stolen trophy. So that makes it even better.
Yeah. So next up is one that was not on the initial list of awards. There's actually a bunch that wound up like that. And it is Musical Performance of the Year. It was presented by Method Man.
It was.
And there there were no other nominees for this award. And this is where I thought Miz and Morrison should have gotten a nomination and won for that music video that they did.
Yeah.
Which was fucking awesome. I loved it. But no, of course, it was Elias. Fuck Elias. I don't give two shits about Elias. I really don't. I have zero care.
So here's the thing, though, that pisses me off about this category, because there's another person that comes to mind, though, that could have been in this category as well. That's Jeff Jarrett. Royal Rumble. Jeff Jarrett had his moment in the ring where he played his little set, and Elias helped him.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
at least, have a few nominees. Yeah,
I was going to say, you could have at least had the nominees, whether or not you're actually going to give it to one of them.
I mean, Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He did, because when he was feuding with Elias there, he did stuff like that too. So you could have at least had 4 nominees right there. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't like that. It was just, no, I just get it. Nah, it's for me. It's like,
there's nobody else in my category.
Yeah, go suck a dick.
I feel full of myself.
I don't like him. Obviously, you can tell I'm not a big fan of Elias. So, all right. So next up is Rivalry of the Year. This one is presented by Demi Burnett. She is from The Bachelor in Paradise. She was one of the many ladies on those shows. And
I had never heard of her before.
I remember her being on WWE because she had that little thing where I think Andrade was like flirting with her. I remember that happening. I feel like we talked about it once on the show too. Other than that, I know of The Bachelor because my other channel, Merc with Movie Blog, we have a Bachelor podcast over there. So they talk about the stuff and I have to edit it. So I hear about all of it. So I know that I have heard her name in the past. Don't really know much about her, and other than the Andrade thing, I don't really remember much of anything else that she may have done with the WWE. And she's not very good at reading cue cards. I'm just going to say, because you can just see her looking way too often off to the side. She's just not very good at reading cue cards, but that's not really the point. The point is Rivalry of the Year here, and the nominees for that, we had Seth Rollins versus the Mysterio family, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, Edge versus Randy Orton, Sasha Banks versus Bayley, R-Truth versus The World, and Lana versus the announcer tables. I love that R-Truth kind of made some jokes about him versus The World, and then the Lana versus the announcer tables things. I thought that was funny. But do you remember if you predicted this one? Because I know I did.
I did, and I remember who I picked.
Yeah, you do remember?
I picked Edge and Orton.
Okay, good. Yeah, I thought that we both picked the same, but I'll be honest, I wasn't sure. I just, like I said, I have my list, so I know what I picked.
Yeah,
and yes,
threw mine out. I really should have kept mine.
Yeah, and so yes, the winner was Edge versus Orton. That was a hell of a feud going down. And I'll be honest, I kind of think the Slammies should have happened in January. They happened this month, so that it could have included December and everything happened in December with TLC and everything leading up, because Orton and Bray Wyatt's feud has been pretty goddamn good.
It has.
And I think it could have at least gotten a nomination.
I was going to say, the match they had at TLC could have easily pulled Match of the Year.
Yeah. At least, like I said, at least a nomination for I don't understand why if it's supposed to be stuff in 2020, why are you doing it before 2020 is over? It was the voting happened and everything, the nominees were picked a month before the year ended, so it's kind of a weird choice. But because normally I think they used to be done closer to WrestleMania.
I think so.
Yeah, I know a lot of the old ones were done like that. So I don't know. I just thought it was weird, but it is what it is. All right. Next up, we've got Female Superstar of the Year, presented by one of my favorite female superstars, Trish Stratus. And apparently she never got a Slammy because the Slammies were on hiatus during her entire career. Between 1997 and 2008, there were no Slammies, and apparently she just was never able to get one. So I thought that was kind of funny that she was like kind of almost like poking fun at it.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And so we've got some fantastic, nominees here. A whole lot of great women who got nominated. We have Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. And I know we both picked Becky Lynch for this. Unfortunately, she did not win. That honor went to Sasha Banks.
At least Charlotte Flair didn't win.
Yes, I was worried that was what was going to happen. I'll be honest with you. I was like, I feel like it might be. I didn't see it being Sasha. I really didn't. Like, no offense to Sasha. I just didn't think that was what the pick was going to be.
I mean,
so
who knows?
I was shocked, but you know what? Hey, good for her. She has really developed into a great wrestler, in my opinion, over this last year. So you know what? She deserves it, though. I still think Becky Lynch should have gotten it.
I will say this. I thought the appearance of her when she was accepting her award without all the makeup and not all the glitz and glam, I thought she looked way prettier than when she wrestles.
Yeah, no, I get that. All right, and then we had Beth Phoenix sharing some of her favorite Slammy memories, particularly her award win at the 2008 Slammys when she headbutted Santino in the balls, and I thought that was hilarious. She talked about how she had like cup underneath his mouth because he was dry heaving for like so long. It was hilarious. I love that. And then TikTok star Derek Barker came out and was praising the WWE for their work with the community. And then he introduced and presented the Breakout Star of the Year. Now, Breakout Star, there was a lot of great nominees in here. And I believe we both picked the winner for this one. I know I did. I'm pretty sure you had them down as well.
I'm pretty sure I did.
The nominees for Breakout of the Year: Dominic Mysterio, Bianca Belair, Otis, the Street Profits, and Murphy. And they brought the smoke because the Street Profits took it home. And I was thrilled to see that because of all those that were listed, I was like, it's hands down. There is no competition.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, not even a question that it's the fucking Street Profits, man. Everything that they have done this year just blew me away. There's some fantastic stuff from these two guys. I loved what they did. All right, then let's see. We got
segue.
So yes, we got the segue into the night before. Apparently, they did some other awards, which I don't know why they didn't just do these on the pre-show. They
Who knows?
Easily could have.
This didn't tie into the show very well either because they were pre-recorded.
Yeah, and that's my point. It's like, why didn't they just? Because it's the hosts of the Bump who did the pre-show. So why didn't they just put it on the pre-show? I don't understand. It didn't really matter as much, and it's like you could have promoted it as like there's a bunch of other awards that were given out on the pre-show. Go watch the pre-show. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Instead, there was only one that was actually given out on the pre-show, and it's just like, and they did it essentially the same way. Like there weren't any like nominees. They just kind of, here it is. Here's your winner. That's it. So we got Social Media Superstar of the Year, won by Bayley. And we got female trash talker of the year, Lacey Evans. Male trash talkers of the year for the Hurt Business. Then they threw it to Caleb Braxton for some more awards, and they did WWE Network Documentary of the Year, which as soon as they said that, I was like, going to go to The Last Ride. And it went to The Last Ride, which, hey, that was a great documentary. It was fantastic. I think a contender could have been that Edge one as well, which was also fantastic. You know, I loved that Edge documentary. It was great. Then they did celebrity appearance of the year, Rob Gronkowski.
Fuck him.
Okay. Now this right here, this was where I was like, this is why NXT should have been part of this. You know, it still pisses me off that NXT is not part of the Slammies because they're just essentially like, fuck NXT. They don't need awards. And it's like, Pat McAfee should have had that. Like, I know technically it's more than an appearance, but he's a celebrity.
Yeah, but same thing
appeared.
For Gronk.
Yeah,
Gronk
he was there quite a while.
Months.
Yeah. So, like, that should have gone to somebody like Pat McAfee. I'd be totally honest. That's who I think it should have gone to. But again, they didn't include NXT in any of this, and it still bothers me that they didn't do that. So then they throw it back to Matt and Ryan from the bump, and we get double cross of the year. Bayley getting her second win of the night, or of the previous night, I guess technically. And then we get referee of the year.
Okay, so I want to talk about this one really quick.
All right.
Okay, because this category, it didn't shock me that they were going to do something like this. Because I personally think that the people behind the scenes and the referees and the technicians and the ring crew do not get enough credit for the amount of shit that they do per show.
I agree.
Okay, so now they're talking about referee of the year, and I'm going to spoil it. I'm sorry. Winner, Charles Robinson. But right before they announce it, there's a guy off on the side, and you see him he's pressing his shirt really quick, and he's got a handful of papers, and he's like, "Whoo, yeah, okay, here we go." And then they say Charles Robinson, and he comes walking in, he's like, and he starts going off at him, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Referee Jon Cone.
Now he's a Raw referee, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Again. Who the fuck is John Cole, and why does he think he should have any win over fucking Charles Robinson?
Yeah, I don't know who Jon Cone is, but it was hilarious to watch him fly off the fucking handle when he didn't win.
Off the handle though, he proceeds to walk out of the room. He puts a wig on and comes back to accept the award as Charles Robinson. And the sad part was he's wearing a mullet wig. It's not even a wig that looked like Charles Robinson would have wore.
Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious.
Personally, I think Ref Jess should have won it.
I think that they should have had nominees for this award because there should have been at least 5 nominees. All those refs should get some recognition.
Hell yeah!
I didn't know. I had to look up who the fuck this dude was. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this is. What the fuck is his name? I had to look up to find out his name was Jon Cone, and I'm just like,
oh, Cone. I thought they said Cole.
Cone. No, yeah, Jon Cone. And I'm just like, I've never heard of him before.
Well, look,
that is why because I thought the same thing. I was like, dude, Ref Jessica should totally be nominated for this at least.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Ref Jess is by far one of the best refs. I know she's not a senior official by any means, but who the fuck is Jon Cone again?
Yeah, but that's why I think there should have been nominees. That way, you at least get to learn the names of some of these refs.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, back in the day,
I have known the name Charles Robinson for years.
I was gonna say there are referees that stand out, like Tim White, Charles Robinson, Earl and Dave Hebner, fucking Nick Patrick. I mean, there are referees out there that you're like, oh my god, it's them. It is that guy. All right. And then there are referees that you're like, oh. Who?
You're like, who? Yeah, exactly. And if they had done a nominee list and Jon Cone was in there and then he comes out prematurely thinking he won, I think it would, because then you would at least be like, okay, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Now you know his name. You've seen his face. You know his name. I think it would have made the bit better. I don't know. I think it should have. I think it should have been.
I had to vent on this one for a second because I felt like I understand. Like I said, refs need to have their moment to shine because they do a lot of shit that people are like, "Oh, fucking referee wasn't paying attention." You don't realize like they're not as dumb as you think they are. Refs have a very hard fucking job that people do not see. But
yeah.
it is what it is. I mean, congratulations to Charles Robinson though on his win.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's deserved. He is a fantastic referee. He's not the senior ref, for just any reason. You know what I mean? There's a reason why
he's earned that title at this point.
Exactly.
I mean, he was a referee in WCW. He came over during the the buyout. He started reffing for WWE. I mean, come on. He is a senior official, and he damn deserves it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so our next award is the Moment of the Year, presented by a dude who I love, Mr. Ken Jeong. John, you're familiar with him. You are currently watching Community, and I know you've seen him in other things.
But did you die?
But did you die?
I will say
I'll allow it.
I do believe that for the presenter, he had a great reason to present. I mean, he got chucked out of the goddamn ring at one point in the WWE.
Yeah, by John Cena. And then he got upset when he had to mention John Cena's name.
I thought that was probably the best part of his presentation, where he's like,
my God.
I'm not going to say John Cena's name. And I don't care what Max says.
No, yeah, I love it. He was like, I don't care what Vinnie Mac says. I'm like, yo, he just called him Vinnie Mac.
Oh,
and then he's like, I got a message for Vinnie Mac. You're fired. Dude, Ken Jeong, I think, gave the best presentation of an award. And it was
yeah.
Yeah, who do you think is the best?
Clark Duke.
You really think his was the best? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can see that. I can see it. He's probably my second, so I get you. I get you.
If you do not agree with me, the Clark Duke was number one. First off, I'll see you in the fucking parking lot after this recording, and I will fucking fight you all night long.
Listen here, Plop. That's your new name, Plop. You know, it is. It's your new name, and I'm gonna prove that it's your new name.
Don't you do it? You don't.
Plop. There it is.
Back.
We're gonna move on to the next award. Oh wait, no, we're just gonna move on to this award. And that, like I said, was Moment of the Year, and the nominees for Moment of the Year. There were several. We have The New Day gets drafted to different brands. Raw, October 12th. Bayley betrays Sasha Banks. SmackDown, September 4th. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman unite. SmackDown, August 28th. The Undertaker's final farewell, Survivor Series. Drew McIntyre defeats Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship, WrestleMania 36. Becky Lynch announces her pregnancy, Raw, May 11th. The New Day's farewell address, SmackDown, October 16th. And Edge returns in the men's Royal Rumble match, Royal Rumble 2020. Now, I know that
category win.
I know that I picked Edge returns. I think you did too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And as they announced it, I'm like, of course, that's who it went to. And it went to The Undertaker's final farewell. And something that you said earlier, how you're like, I don't know how legit I don't remember exactly how you said it, but how legit the voting is, or you know what I mean? And this one made me think that, because I'm like, the reason that he got this was because this was his last chance to have one.
Yep.
Really. And I mean, technically it wasn't his last chance because we see later on he gets a second one. But we talked about this on the show when that farewell took place. It was not good. It was not a well-presented farewell. It did not do the dead man justice. It did not in any way, shape, or form. And so for it to be... Yeah, it did not. And for it to be given moment of the year, it bothers me because Edge's return had a way bigger impact, in my opinion.
Well,
just saying.
I'm gonna rip off that whole quote for a moment, and I'm still going to make it fit in the situation. First off, The Undertaker did not deserve that award. He did not hit her. He did not do that. And hi, Mark. Get it?
Hi, Mark.
His name is Mark.
I get it. Well done, sir. Well done.
I did not.
And then they had a well-placed appearance by The Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool, sharing her favorite memory of winning her Slammy with Layla back in the day when they were tag teaming. So I thought that was it makes sense to me that they chose to have her do hers right then. You know what I mean? It made sense. But I was like, oh, okay. You know, I see what you guys are doing, planning this shit out. I got you. I see you, WWE. I see what you're doing. And then we move on to John's favorite presentation, Tag Team of the Year, presented by Clark Duke. John, give your thoughts on this presentation since you loved it so damn much.
Like I said, I thought the way he presented was awesome because he was presenting Tag Team of the Year, and instantly he goes down the list. And actually, we'll play this out like an actual award show for a second. The Tag Team nominations of the year were, Josh,
the Golden Role Models,
Billy and
Nia Jax. Yes, if you really want me to say their names, I'll say it.
Well, I mean, people might not know. We didn't know who the fuck they were.
That is true. That is true. We did not know that was their team name. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. The New Day. Yeah, talentless. Okay. The New Day.
Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E Langston.
Thought you were going to say something better than that. The Street Profits.
Oh, yeah.
That's the wrong guy. And Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. Fair enough.
First off, they were like a tag team for like 2 weeks. No, I think they're still a tag team.
No, I'm pretty sure they are still tag team. And they're a pretty good tag team. They just don't get much play, really.
No, they really don't.
Really, you don't really see much of them. So the winner of Tag Team of the Year was John's pick, the Street Profits. I went with the New Day. John went with the Street Profits. I remember that because I remember we had that differ. But John called it.
It's kind of funny that both of us picked the tag team champions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were not just because they're champions, but the reason that they are champions is because they're the two best teams. I mean, that's in my opinion.
Yeah, Street Profits, man.
Yes. Absolutely. I get it. If not the New Day, Street Profits. That's my second choice. So I'm totally okay with that. And they have now won 2 Slammies this year. They got Breakout and they got Team of the Year. So congratulations to them. I hope that they dump all kinds of plastic cups all over the place in celebration.
So low.
Yes. Then we get Daniel Bryan giving his favorite memory from the 2013 Slammies. He says it was because it was the last time that his dad saw him wrestle. I thought this was one of my favorite memories because it was just from the heart. You know what I mean? Like most of them are just like, that was a fun or a funny moment that happened. But this one was straight from D-Bry's heart, and I kind of loved it.
I'm Daniel Bryan right now, by the way.
Why?
He's rocking my haircut now.
We will obviously talk about D-Bry a little bit during the TLC because he's in the 8-man tag match during the pre-show. But it got me thinking. I mean, I'll just say it now. When the fuck was the last time he was on a pay-per-view?
That's a true statement.
Like, I'd have to go and look it up because I don't remember the last time he was on a pay-per-view.
I'm pretty sure right now he's starting to dwindle down. He's like starting to get to that where he doesn't want to do it much anymore.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just sad because I love watching him do his thing. You know, he's a hell of a performer, and I miss seeing him do all his awesome shit. All right, so next up, this is the penultimate category, match of the year, presented by Rico and Rainy Rodriguez. Rico Rodriguez is from Modern Family. For those of you who watch that, Rainy Rodriguez, they said something about like some Disney show. I have no idea who she is.
Disney shows.
It's his sister, but I don't watch Disney shows.
Daughter in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Never seen that one. Never seen it. So yeah, I really didn't know who she was other than them saying that she was his sister. So
it's funny because once they showed them side by side, I saw the resemblance immediately.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so match of the year had a number of great matches that were nominated. We got The Undertaker versus AJ Styles in the Boneyard match at WrestleMania. The New Day versus the Hurt Business Raw Tag Team Championship match on Raw November 16th. Edge versus Orton, the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash. The Men's Royal Rumble match at Royal Rumble. AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, Intercontinental Championship Tournament Finals on SmackDown June 12th. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the Universal Championship in the Hell in a Cell I Quit match at Hell in a Cell. Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship in Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy for the Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat ladder match at Clash of Champions. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. And Becky Lynch versus Asuka Royal Rumble. Now, I picked AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy, Intercontinental triple threat ladder match, Clash of Champions. That match is fucking insane. It's awesome.
Yep.
I rewatched it. So good.
I had picked the ladies Hell in a Cell match,
which is it's the best of those 3 Hell in a Cell matches. Man, it was such a fucking good match. And
really
neither of us
this category.
Nope. Neither of us were right. And I'll be honest, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, after Taker won the other award that he got, the moment of the year, I was like, they're gonna give it to the Boneyard match. And they did. Now, don't get me wrong. If you watched us talk about WrestleMania, you know we both fucking loved that Boneyard match. But throughout the year, in obviously both of our opinions, there were better matches.
I think matches, and this is going to sound harsh. So people who are listening to this right now, do not take this the way it's going to come out, but I'm going to say this the way it needs to be said. Cinematography filmed matches should not be able to be nominated for match of the year. They are done differently and performed differently.
Yeah, I get that.
That's what you said.
No, I mean, I think it's a valid argument to make. Yeah, because it's very much different because you can stop, you can take a break, you can you can take another, you can do another take. Like, oh, that one didn't come out as well as we wanted to. Let's try it again, and they can do that. I know for a fact that they stopped and did stuff like that. They talked about it. There was like a behind the scenes thing that they showed at one point. I think it was during the Last Ride documentary.
Pretty sure.
And he talked about that, like when I think it was after he smashes the window on the car and he got all cut up. They had to stop.
Yep.
And get all the glass out of his arm. In a normal match, you ain't stopping like that. Nope. You know what I mean? So now, yes, it was a hell of a fucking show. But again, I still thought that there were other matches that were better than it.
Agreed.
Both of our picks, that Asuka Becky Lynch match at Royal Rumble, phenomenal. You know, like, and I'll be honest, if they had actually included stuff, you know, like from TLC or like for the rest of the year, I would have taken the Royal Rumble match out and threw this Inferno match in. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that Royal Rumble match is my least favorite of the list.
Yeah.
And I was like, me and you, we talked about this before on the last show, on the prediction show. We did not enjoy watching that, you know? And it's sad because like we watched it with Dad, you know, but Dad had a great time watching everything, but we were just so angry for half of that match that I just don't understand how, like, I know some good stuff happened in it, but
I mean, yeah, good stuff happened during it, but I mean, it happened so late in that match that by the point it finally happened, I mean, how many people were just like, fuck this match already?
Yeah. Seriously, 15 people deep, and it's just Brock Lesnar being like, "Yep, I'm Brock Lesnar. I'm the best guy here."
Yeah, pretty much.
Freaking so tired of that guy. I'm so glad he's not around. But yeah, Boneyard match got that, and I mean, congratulations to you know, both The Undertaker and AJ Styles. I mean, they put on a hell of a show, so hey, good for them. I'm glad that they got some recognition for that, I guess. I still think it should have been AJ Styles could have still gotten one if mine had gotten picked. I'm just saying. Saying. And then Sami Zayn could have gotten an award and been like really just kind of like fueled that like fucking ego of his. I think it would have been hilarious. But all right. And then our last award of the night was Superstar of the Year. This is overall Superstar of the Year. It includes both men and women. And it's presented by Ric Flair himself. Now, woo! I'll be totally honest with you, John. As R-Truth is like, you know, this next presenter, he's wheeling, he's dealing, he's saying all this stuff that's obviously Ric Flair. I'm like, he's gonna fucking punk us, and he's gonna say that it's him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of like what he did with the gobbledygooker, where he made it seem like it was the Undertaker that he was talking about, but it was the gobbledygooker. And so like, I'm like, he's going to fucking punk us, and I'm just going to be pissed off about it. But he didn't. I was really shocked. Like, the sad thing is it kind of took away the like, oh yeah, about Ric Flair being there. Cause I was just like, oh, okay. He didn't punk us. Oh, hey, it's Ric Flair.
I'm not going to lie. When they introduced it as Ric Flair, I instantly thought Superstar of the Year was going to go to Charlotte.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I could see that. But no, that was not the case. I mean, I'm not just gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna read off everybody, but essentially it's just the male and the females combined. So Asuka, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, and The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Now, when we did our prediction, we actually changed it up, and you convinced me to change mine. We both had said Bray Wyatt for the male superstar.
Oh, yes.
For the male superstar. You went and you made this whole like convincing argument. I think you went with Braun.
I did go with
I'm not mistaken. But like as you're saying it, it got me thinking about Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
And you gave this very convincing, argument as to why it would be possible that the winner of the overall could be different than the winner of either the male or the female. And part of me is glad that I went with it because I got the nomination, my prediction right. But it also just kind of proved my original point that it was just going to be one of the two that were already picked.
You did.
And it went to Drew McIntyre.
Which is who you switched to.
It is who I switched to, yeah, because originally I did just put The Fiend back down for it. But so Drew McIntyre takes home another trophy here. I mean, I think that he has definitely. I think he deserves it.
I won't say he didn't deserve it, but I will ask you this: who has two thumbs and hates this nomination? This guy.
Sorry, bro. I know you had other people that to pick, but is what it is. It went to Drew McIntyre.
It did.
So yeah. Now I had a couple of other things that I just wanted to mention. So as R-Truth is wrapping up the show, I'm sitting there like, okay, who's gonna run in there and try to take his fucking title? It's like, yes, that's the last thing we need on here is someone to just run in there, because I was hoping it's just like the ring would get bum rushed by a bunch of like D-listers and just chase him out of the fucking warehouse, and that would be like, you don't actually see a match, you don't see anything like that, you just see him get chased off, and that's it. And they didn't do that, and I'm like, oh man, that's a missed opportunity right there. They always do shit with R-Truth, but then they have the perfect opportunity and they totally drop the ball on it.
Yep.
And then the show ends with some kind of like behind the scenes almost type stuff with Bayley. She's like taking pictures with her awards and kind of like upset that she got the ones that she got almost. It was really kind of funny because she got Double Cross and I don't remember what the hell the other one was. It was something else.
Social media one.
Oh yeah. That
Crash
one. Yeah. And then she goes and she tells all the fans, she's like, I hate you all, which I thought was pretty funny. And that's just kind of how they ended it. I find it interesting that they gave Bayley this kind of spot at the end, because they don't do much with, I mean, I should say they don't do much pay-per-view type stuff with her. And so I just found it interesting that they gave her the spot where they didn't give any of the other people who who got the like night before awards any spotlight. But they gave it to her. I thought that was kind of interesting, and I thought it was a fairly funny way to end the show, even though I still kind of wish it had just ended with R-Truth getting chased off by a bunch of people. I think that would have been way funnier. So, but yeah, that wraps up the Slammy Awards.
Slammy Awards.
Yeah. So, John, your overall final thoughts on the Slammies. Let's hear it.
I still think they're rigged, but they were entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I definitely think people are allowed to vote, and they might take into account the vote. The nominees are absolutely rigged, because we talked about on the prediction show how the male and female superstar of the year nominees were so like Vince McMahon predictable.
I will say this, as opposed to how the predictions played out that we made, if I was a certain former president of the United States, I would be demanding a recount.
Hilarious, and I love it. That's great. All right, yeah. And my last thought on it is I liked how they did the format. Doing it how they can. You can't have a bunch of people around, and that's fine. I thought that they were able to do something fun with it and still have it, which is nice.
Sense.
Yeah. And I hope that it sticks around. Because I've always liked the Slammies, and I hope that it continues to come year after year for a while and not take another fucking several year hiatus like they seem to like to do. So, all right, and we are here now to talk about some TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs. Yeah, that thing. There it is. Tables, ladders, and chairs. John, it looks like they didn't go with your suggestion of tender love and care. Sorry.
Well, they didn't also go with tacos, lasagna, and cervezas.
That's true. They didn't. I mean, I would love some tacos, lasagna, and cervezas right now. That would be fantastic. But can't always have everything you want.
Now I want tacos.
There you go. Go get some tacos, but not right now because we're going to talk TLC.
That's
right. Tables, ladders, and chairs, bitches.
Let's do it.
All right. So, as usual, we start off with the kickoff show. We had Jeff Jarrett back on the table with Charlie Caruso, Booker T, and Peter Rosenberg, one of John's favorites. You know it. We love it. They did an interview with MVP, talked a bit about how if they won the titles, it would be like destiny fulfilled. We'll get a little bit into how that all turned out for them. Then we got Miz and Morrison coming out, teasing possible cash-in, which we will obviously talk a little bit about that as well later on. Yep. And essentially, he laid it out that if he's going to do it, he's going to challenge for the WWE Championship, or the, as we call it now, the Raw Men's Championship.
The Raw Men's Championship.
Yes. And, of course, R-Truth coming out. You know, at this point, it'd be weird if he didn't come out.
I was going to say, it'd be weird at this point if he stopped coming out.
Yeah. And he
about where he is.
I kind of love that he volunteered to be Asuka's tag partner.
I mean, so many people want him to be Asuka's tag team partner. I mean, we even see that on the main show. Yeah,
we do. And he even pointed out that he has more combined title runs than anyone in WWE history. Was it 45 just after 45 just for the 24/7? He's had other titles though, right?
Yeah,
he's been I remember that
champion, tag team champion.
So like he's probably like 50 time at least, 50 plus time champion. You know, and it's just the fact that R-Truth is a record holder in the WWE.
I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound really mean. He can hold the 24/7 championship as many times as he wants, but he'll never get his hands on the WWE championship.
I mean, you're probably right. Yeah. I mean, well, he may get his hands on it.
Yeah, I guess if he's being someone's bag boy.
Yeah, or maybe he'll just walk off with it like he did like he did the Slammy. He just kind of walked off with it.
See, we both went different ways that way.
Yeah. Oh man, that was I thought it was pretty funny him coming out because it didn't really tie. I mean, he mentioned the 24/7 title obviously, but it wasn't part of him coming out. It wasn't like people were attacking him to take his title and all this other garbage.
I was just I think it's one of the first times he's come out though that nobody's attacked him either. And
we didn't get a title match either. Like that didn't there wasn't a backstage thing where somebody tried to take him out.
Nope.
And I feel like it's the first one pay-per-view in a while that we haven't had that. So
nope.
I actually was happy with this segment because it didn't lead to something else. You know what I mean? We've talked about before how it just kind of it gets annoying. He just keeps popping up, you know. And so this one worked for me. I don't know. I liked it. And then we get the kickoff match for this pay-per-view, and it is an 8-man tag match. We've got all these guys here. We've got Chad Gable, we've got Otis, we've got D-Bry, Big E, all on one team. We're going up against Sami Zayn, King Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro. So, I mean, John, let me know what were your thoughts on this match?
I mean, I was a little taken back by like the fact that just the representation of that card right there, that match card, it's like Job Squad 2.0. It's the guys who they don't have real storylines for at this point, even though one of the guys is the Intercontinental Championship holder. Yeah. I mean, where has that title been being used at all lately on a pay-per-view? Hasn't been defended now in a couple months. At least on pay-per-view. The match itself I didn't think was horrible. I was very shocked at the way this match played out, though. Wasn't super long, it wasn't super short, but it had that quick time frame, but it's still managed to tell one hell of a story at all, like the dynamics of everything going on in there. With like Chad Gable trying to show like he's new and improved, and you've got like the whole tag team of Shinsuke and Cesaro, and it was just like, and then the ending to the match shocked me. I did not see how that was going to play out or how they were going to use it later on in the night.
Really? Yeah, you didn't think that was how it was going to go down?
I ended up thinking it was going to be like a Chad Gable win, or maybe like Big E was going to win, but not Big E pinning the Intercontinental Champion.
I mean, I had a feeling that was how it was going to go, just because they started a little feud with them, with the whole Sammy's thing, the Slammy Awards, and all that stuff. So it seemed like it made sense, I guess I should say. I wasn't specifically being like, okay, I'm calling this, but when it happened, it didn't really surprise me, just because of that.
I guess I shouldn't say it surprised me as much either, because, I mean, like you said, made sense. I guess I just wasn't seeing the seeds being planted and growing so fast.
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was real quick, but I mean, Sammy's been pissing. I mean, I don't know if he's been pissing people off for real, but like, at least storyline wise, he's just been pissing people off. So it seemed to work. I had a few notes about this. I think I brought this up when we were talking about the Slammies, but when the fuck was the last time D-Bry was on a pay-per-view? You know?
Well, yeah, and like, you totally brought that up. And like I said, I know he's trying to dwindle down his career a little bit, but like he was even underutilized in this match, though. Like,
it was nice to see him. It was real nice, because I love watching him work, and so I was like, oh shit, D-Bry's on a. I mean, it's the pre-show, but still, it's like he's on a pay-per-view. All right, let's see what he does. I mean, yeah, like you said, not a whole lot, but I dug it. And also, I don't know when this started, but Otis back in a singlet. I like it.
I think we talked about how him and a bunch of the big guys got sent back down to developmental. I wouldn't doubt that was something that got brought up, was that he needs to contain himself more.
Maybe, yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry.
He hasn't worn a singlet since Heavy Machinery days.
Nope.
And I love that look. Like, their look was great.
Yeah.
And then he just started wearing the Spanx, and it's like, the only reason you do that with a big guy like that is to make them a joke, to make them funny.
Yep.
You know, it's like Chris Farley kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what they did with Otis. And so I'm hoping that with him being sent down for that, and getting the singlet back on, that they're going to actually allow him to be a bit more serious. That's what I hope. You know what I mean? Because I think he could do some cool stuff. You know, I think he could have a good run. He can't do it and be a joke. I mean, look at R-Truth. That's all he is. You know, he's the funny guy character, and he's never going to reach the top. It's just never going to happen. Those kinds of characters they just don't. One of the things I loved was how Sammy was really just kind of fucking with Big E during this match. I just, like, throughout the whole thing, I thought it was great, which made the finish make even more sense, and it kind of almost gave it a satisfying ending because of that. But there was one thing back to Otis that I noticed that kind of rammed. Was, did you see when Chad Gable was talking to him and he was like, we talked about this, and like was giving him orders, and Otis was taking orders?
No, actually, I must have been grabbing a drink or something when that happened. I did not see that.
So I don't know what that's all about. I'm not 100% sure where they're going with that, but it seems like there's something going on with Otis. So I'm interested to see where it all goes.
Hell yeah,
with that. So yeah, and so Sammy hit outside the ring for a while. He gets in to try to take advantage of a down to Chad Gable. Gable's able to tag Big E, and like John said, Big E takes out Sami Zayn for the win. There's some stuff that pops up later on. There's some stuff that happens backstage that we'll talk about. I don't want to kind of jump the gun here, but there's some stuff between them that kind of comes back around, and it leads to some stuff. It leads to some stuff that has happened on the weekly shows that I'm interested to kind of dive in just a little bit. All right. So we are going to get into the main show here, TLC 2020, with our very first match of the night, what we like to call the pace setter. And I'm going to preface this one I thought it was a strange choice for a pace setter. Not that it was a bad match, because it was a fantastic match. It was this match for the WWE Championship, or the Men's Raw Championship, as we like to call it, versus AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre. It, like I said, fantastic match, but it just didn't feel right being the opener. You know what I mean? The WWE Championship is supposed to be the top title in the WWE. Hence the reason that it holds the name.
According to who?
It's just the way it is. It's the Raw brand title. It holds the name of the company. You know what I mean? So, like, yes, obviously Roman likes to say that it's just a placeholder bullshit, but I feel like it's kind of almost disrespectful to the title, to me. That's just my opinion.
I mean,
you may not feel that strongly about it. I don't.
It's not that I don't feel strongly about it. It was going to be one of the two titles opening the show.
I don't think it needed to be. It could have been the fucking tag team match. The men's tag team match was a great match, and it could have easily been that.
They've been doing this for months, though. Literally, the last couple of shows have opened up with like the WWE Championship opening the show.
I'm pretty sure that's not accurate.
I'm pretty sure Hell in a Cell opened with Drew McIntyre. It opened with one of the titles.
Maybe that one didn't feel as weird because there was 3 Hell in a Cell title matches, and they had to kind of like space them out that way.
Yeah.
Maybe that was why. I don't know, but it just for some reason it just didn't feel right. I don't know how else to describe it.
Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe it's because if they would have flipped the Raw Tag Team title match with the Women's Universal Championship, then they could have put the Women's Championship on the line in a TLC match, and it would have been pace setted, or it would have been spaced enough that it would have made sense.
Yeah.
Because it would have had to have been flipped there, and it would have been spaced enough that it would have made sense. Because then you would have had like a draw match, and then a normal match, and then a draw match, and then a normal match with 2 draw matches back to back. But there would have been no way to have spaced it out a little bit more.
I mean, even if you just had it second, I think I would have felt better if the men's tag team match had been the opener.
That I could have seen, but
and then just have the WWE title TLC match be second, and I would have been totally okay with that. I think. I mean, I don't know for a fact that I wouldn't have been. I feel like I would have. It wouldn't have felt as weird to me, but. Again, it doesn't take anything away from the match. It felt like a weird placement for me. So, and it did kind of almost put credence to like what you were talking about, Roman Reigns, calling, Drew McIntyre a placeholder and essentially saying that title is not as important. And it kind of put that into place a bit more for me. It seems like that's what they're kind of pushing, whether they're doing it on purpose or not. You know what I mean? It might just be a coincidence that, it just happenstance that, it all lined up that way. But I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
I will talk more about that when we get to the main event or when we get to that match.
Yeah. All right. So, we're going to dive into this match now. And I got to say, man, these two started things off hard and fast, just like John in the bedroom. What? But seriously, man, they went fucking ham on each other, and I love it. That's not the only match that this happens, but
no,
with this being the first match of the main part of the show, I was like, damn, they're not waiting at all. They're just getting right into it. And there was a spot that I wanted to mention. AJ on the top rope got chopped so fucking hard that it sent him tumbling down to the floor. And I was like, God damn. That takes me back to when we used to do You Just Got Chopped.
Yes.
Shit. It was I took like a double take. I was like, holy shit, he got chopped so fucking hard, man. He just went flying off that fucking thing.
There was a lot of shit that happened in this match that really made me double take. So I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Yeah. Like one thing that reminded me of you, toe hold drop right into a ladder.
Yep.
And I saw that and I was like, oh, that's Jon right there, all day. That's totally you. So give me some of your thoughts on this match. What you thought? A lot of, like you said, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened in this match.
I have a few weird notes for this match. One, I thought that they had a very great use of the environment.
Yes, I wrote that down as well.
Like they were everywhere. They were outside the ring. They were inside the ring. Weapons were being used. I mean, Paul Heyman made a very good promo backstage at one point where he was talking about why he likes NASCAR, and it's because of the crashes and stuff. And he's like, TLC is that because, weapons aren't only allowed, they're encouraged.
Yeah.
And watching this match, I know his man's not in this match, but this was fucking specifically like boom, boom, boom. The one thing that really stood out, it happened, and commentary said this and it bugged me, is there's a moment where Drew McIntyre essentially like back suplexes a ladder, and like they're like, oh my god, how strong is Drew McIntyre that he lifted that ladder? And he did. He made it look like that ladder was like 2,000 pounds. But how fucking heavy is that ladder, dude? Like, you're literally picking up steel steps and chucking them at people and shit. And you're picking up a full-grown human being and chucking him around. So you're too weak to lift a fucking ladder?
I guess they really want the audience to think that these ladders are extremely heavy and dangerous. I think that's what they're
ladders. I mean, they're not that fucking heavy.
Yeah, but you gotta think. I guarantee the majority of the audience has never lifted a ladder like that.
Fair. And I mean, that's fair. But like, it really took me back for a second. And it's one of the only nitpicks I had is that commentary is like, wow, he's lifting that ladder like it's nothing. But oh my God, how strong is he? I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, I have been in countless ladder matches, and let me tell you, never once have I ever had that much of a hard time picking up a ladder.
It's true, yeah.
I have done that spot before.
I was gonna say that spot is definitely one that has happened in CBW. I'm pretty sure more than once.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks phenomenal. So, and then I was really shocked that I had made a prediction that came true for this match.
Yes, you did. Yeah, and you guys can go right back and watch our prediction show because he said it right there on live stream.
I did. I was very shocked. And while we're talking about it, and since Raw and SmackDown have happened since then, I'm gonna play into things that have happened since then as well. Okay. I was very glad to see that The Miz had used his briefcase to cash in. However, when it was cashed in, I noticed something that I thought was funny. The Miz did not cash in his Money in the Bank.
Yeah, you see, I didn't catch that. I didn't even think twice about it until I saw a story from this past Raw. So yeah, I didn't even think about it.
I thought it was really funny because I was like, well, where the hell is this going to go? Like, because it would have been a double-edged sword. Had The Miz won, it would have been all okay. But The Miz lost, so I didn't cash in my briefcase.
Actually, I think it would have been funnier if he had won, and then they're like, "Nope, sorry." Like 2 weeks later, they're like, "Sorry, you're not actually the champ."
Dude, that would have been funny. I would have agreed.
Yeah, I think that would, because then Miz could have played off the whole, being pissed off and whining about it and not wanting to give it back, or I think it actually would have played. I think it would have played really well, but. Yeah, they didn't go that way. Instead, they made everybody think that Miz lost his cash in. You know what I mean?
So one of the other notes that I had about this match is that almost standing at ringside. The way he does, he kind of skulks there because there's nothing else for him to really do until his one big moment of the match. So, one, he looks really awkward just standing at ringside, kind of like.
Yeah. I mean, he did help out a few times. Like, he put some ladders and stuff into the ring a few times for AJ. But, most of the time, it's just like he's just kind of there. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but until he put Miz through the table and Jomo and him start their little moment, he just kind of stood there. And then I understand that he's a big dude, but you're going to tell me getting blasted in the back with a fucking steel chair in a full swing did nothing to you?
Dude, he didn't flinch. Like, even if it's like a super fake chair, he got hit in the back with something and didn't flinch. I give him a little bit of credit just for that. He's like, okay, dude didn't flinch. I don't care. You could hit me in the back with a pillow, and I'd probably flinch at least. Like, you probably see just a tiny flint. You know what I mean? Just because it happened. No, and that chair was destroyed.
Oh, it was destroyed.
Dude, it was pretty cool.
It just runs, but like, I was like, okay.
I agree that it's like, really, you're making him out to be like essentially an unstoppable being, and it's like. What would happen?
Indestructible.
Nice. And it's like, what would happen if they decide to make him a wrestler?
Yeah.
Are they going to go back on all that? Or are they going to literally have it be nobody can beat this guy?
I mean, it's really funny because there's a moment outside the ring where Drew McIntyre pretty much gets in his face. It's during one of the moments when they're in that corner area. And I have to say, I was like, he's not, I know he's like a big guy, but he's really not that much taller than Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Drew's tall, man. Drew's tall.
One of the other moments of this match that really made me laugh, and it made me laugh because I could have seen you doing it in the backyard had we been light enough. Not that, we were big guys, but like tables can only hold so much weight. AJ Styles did like from the second rope onto the table, jumped onto Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's fucking impressive.
Yeah. And I mean, Drew did, not quite the same, but like Drew did, he set up a table, I remember. And then he had to hop up onto the comm table to get onto the other side. I thought that was hilarious. I love that. And you brought up the almost putting Miz through the table, but you didn't mention how he did it. And I think the how is the funnier aspect of that whole spot because he carried Miz over like a baby and then just tossed him into onto a table.
And that's the thing. He didn't throw him hard. He did not lob him. He did not chuck him. He just
lightly toss. Yeah, whoop. Just a little light toss. I'm just like, okay.
Obviously, if you've watched Raw or SmackDown since the pay-per-view, Drew McIntyre retained his championship, and as stated, Miz got his Money in the Bank briefcase back because he never technically cashed in. John Morrison cashed in for him.
Yeah, I do like that they did that because it makes sense. You are supposed to be the one cashing in. Someone else shouldn't have that power. You know what I mean? No. It just shouldn't be allowed. Well, it makes sense.
It made total sense because what if Miz didn't want to cash in at that point?
Yeah.
It was kind of cashed in for him. And I get it. Like I said, it would have been a double-edged thing, but it was kind of funny.
And they've been kind of building up to he's got to cash in, he's got to cash in, he's got to cash it in. So they let him do it. But they also didn't want him to not have it anymore. You know what I mean? So I think they did it in a good way.
I thought they did it in a phenomenal way.
He got that cash in moment, but he still has the thing and gets another one somewhere down the road. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. I'm curious if they'll actually give him the title or not. So I don't know.
I think he's deserving.
Yeah, I think so. So after this match. We see Paul Heyman in the back talking to Kayla This is where you had mentioned
Yeah.
he talks about NASCAR and he likes seeing people get hurt essentially, and that Kevin Owens essentially will be that person tonight. So I thought it was a good little
I mean, the
backstage
man did
promo.
run ECW.
It's true. And then we get into our second match, and that is
the Women's Universal Championship.
If I can get this picture to load, apparently not. Come on.
Loaded on my side.
Yes, I don't. It's not on mine anywhere. There it is. Hold on. So I'm going to have to edit that out. Okay. And for our second match, we have the Women's
Universal Championship.
Yes, the Women's Universal. Carmella and Sasha Banks. So, John, I'm going to start off with you. What do you think about this match?
So me and you agree on this because we talked about this in the days following TLC. That I'm really taken back by this match not having a stipulation at all. Whether it being a ladder match, a TLC, I mean, hell, they could have brought in one of the lame-ass chair matches they used to do. It could have been a tables match.
I think a tables match would have been awesome.
I think a tables match would have been fine. I have a couple really great notes, and then I have a series of what the fuck notes.
Okay.
I thought this match was really good between the two of them. This match was almost like one of my match options for match of the night.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised because you know me. I for a long time was not a fan of Carmella, but she started to grow on me, and I thought that she had some good stuff going on in this match.
With that being said, though, WWE really needs to tighten the belt on what is legal and what is not legal during a match, because Reginald, the guy who comes out with Carmella, interfered himself in this match way more than he should have been allowed to without getting Carmella disqualified.
Yeah, like legitimately grabbing Sasha Banks and pulling her out of the ring.
Yeah.
Or you put your hands on one of the opponents, that should be it right there.
Yeah. I mean, typically that would have been a disqualification. And the fact that the ref's just okay, whatever. Do whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, eh.
Or at least he should have gotten maybe they let it slide a couple times and he should have gotten booted from ringside.
And that would have worked. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
The other thing that really kind of took me out of the match was that there was a couple times Carmella was adjusting her leg.
Those gear. I literally have a note about that in here. I wrote down Carmella's thigh-high leg sleeves keep falling. Maybe she needs a gear change.
She was wearing ones that are essentially originally connected to her shorts.
Oh, so did they?
So I don't know what changed to make her go with not connected ones.
Yeah. Because by the end of the match, one of them was around her ankles and the other one was under her knee. You know what I mean? They essentially became like leg warmers for just her calf, but one of them was all the way down to her ankle. So it's what's the point of even having it?
Yeah,
there was no point in having it.
I'm sure you'll see a change in her gear or a better way to keep them up or something. Yeah. And that took me back. The other thing that kind of made me not like this match as much as I should have is you know how when you're first teaching someone to play WWE video games and they get that one move that they're really good at, so they do it over and over again? I felt like watching Sasha Banks was that, because she kept hitting, and yes, it's got 3 different fucking names. There's the double knee to the corner, there's the Meteora, there's the whatever, but it's the same fucking move. Yeah. And it's the same move she goes to 100 fucking times.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You want to be the Universal Women's Champion? Be the fucking champion. Stop doing the same 3 fucking moves. Impress me.
You want to know what did impress me? When Carmella went for a real quick X Factor and spiked Sasha's head right into the fucking mat.
Dude,
I don't know if that was supposed to happen.
I'm pretty sure Sasha pre-bumped.
Maybe because I said, it looked like she was going for an X Factor. Is that? I'll be honest. I don't follow Carmella all that much. Is that one of her moves?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm she legitimately was off. Like Sasha Banks was midair and her head just right into the fucking mat. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah.
I'm not gonna laugh. Or I'm not gonna laugh.
Oh, you're gonna laugh. I was saying you're gonna laugh, and you probably did.
I did.
But like I was like, oh damn. Shit.
Only other note I have, spoiler alerts, Sasha Banks retains her championship. Mm-hmm. But as she's going up the ramp, I noticed that she had lost her eyelashes.
Oh, really? I did not notice.
She always wears like clip-on eyelashes or press-ons or glue-ons or whatever. But somewhere during the match, she lost her fake eyelashes.
Probably when her face collided with the mat. Because that shit was nasty, dude. It was
that shit was intense, man.
Oh shit! It was yeah.
I haven't really kept up with the storyline of what's going on SmackDown since that. I probably should check out and see what's going on with that whole angle now, because I'm sure they're going to keep it going and build up to the Rumble.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. So after this match, we got some backstage stuff. We had Asuka. She was backstage stretching. And Billie Kay comes up. She's got her headshot resume. And she's trying to convince Asuka to let her be her partner for the match. She claims to be fluent in Japanese, which Asuka was super excited about. Starts talking in Japanese. And Billie Kay obviously has no idea what she's saying.
She also claimed to be a clairvoyance.
Oh, yeah.
Added that to
my God. I have to tell you, I kind of love what they're doing with Billie Kay. I don't know how far this can go, but I never really used to have to care for her all that much. I just didn't care. But now I kind of enjoy seeing her pop up and do these like almost like little funny skits. I dig it. It makes me laugh every time. Other than that, I don't really care much about her, but she entertains me when it comes to that. Obviously, Asuka turned her down, which I thought was fitting. All right, so now we're going to get into our third match. That is the Hurt Business versus Kofi and Xavier, the New Day. That's right, for the what is it? The Raw? Are they the Raw Tag Team Champions?
The Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, there you go. They are the Men's Raw. I'm gonna call them the Men's Raw, even though there's only like the women don't have a Raw. They just have one. Just saying.
They do.
It's not the WWE Tag Team Champions. It's the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, but it's weird, though, because when they refer to the Tag Team Champions for the women, they don't call them the Women's Tag Team Champions most of the time. They just refer to them as the Tag Team Champs.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, I do hear it get referred to as the Women's Tag Team Champions.
I mean, if you think about it, the women represent both brands.
Yep.
Because it's one title.
Well, technically, it's been defended on all three brands, though. It's been defended on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Oh, has it? Okay. Well, I mean, it seems like they don't give a shit about NXT anyways. It's super separate. They don't. They have their own pay-per-views. They're never in these like the main pay-per-views anymore, and they weren't at the Slammies. So obviously, they don't care that much about NXT when it comes to showcasing things. So
true statement.
Yeah.
So let's get back to Shelton Benjamin and Alexander versus the New Day.
Yeah, so it is. It starts off real fast. Kofi delivering a kick to Cedric, going right for that pin, and then it just keeps going for a bit with the New Day, just kind of dominating for a little bit. I say this, man: New Day made the Hurt Business work for this match. For this,
they did.
Like, they made them work for it, and that's what I like to see. We've seen matches between these four guys before, but I think this was their best one personally. Between the two teams, I don't know about what your thoughts on that are, but I thought this was their best.
That statement.
And to me, I think this match is probably. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's but it's one of the top Kofi matches too. It really showed how good of an actual wrestler he is. It really showcased what his talents is, and he gets kind of. I feel like people overlook him a lot, and they've been overlooking him for years. But I feel like he deserves to not be overlooked because he is a fantastic wrestler.
I think a lot of Kofi's problem is that because of so long where he was just that guy.
He was a spot guy. He was a spot guy.
Even like they briefly mentioned that he was a WWE champion in this match. And it's like that can't be taken away from Kofi. He worked his ass off to be WWE champion. Yeah. Like he is one of the harder working guys in the business. He just enjoys being the guy who he has fun doing what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the things I love about watching the New Day because they do have fun. But I mean, even before they came out, they said this was a what was it? It was a big match attitude, something like that.
Oh, I didn't catch that. So yeah, but it was a damn good match, and I have to also say I find it kind of nice to actually see Shelton Benjamin be relevant again. Yeah, like ever since he came back and then joined up with the Hurt Business and all this. I feel like he's just been kind of on the side, because it's been all about Bobby Lashley. So and like every pay-per-view is dominated by Bobby Lashley. I gotta say, it's nice not seeing him in a match this month. You know what I mean? That was pretty fantastic. But it's nice to see because Shelton is a fucking amazing wrestler.
Absolutely.
And to see him actually have some relevance. I dig that, even though I wanted New Day to win, I like that, he's kind of getting a chance to shine here.
Well, I thought this match was really good because of like the back and forth. The action was great. The only thing I noticed that kind of took me by surprise is that they did the moment where Cedric Alexander tags himself in on Shelton. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Are they on the same page or are they not on the same page? Because
exactly. That's the kind of thing that you do when they're getting close to breaking up a team.
Yeah.
That's what happens all the time. One member starts getting overzealous and starts thinking they're better or like taking shit away like that. And I literally wrote in my notes, I was like, will this start to cause issues? ? Because why else do that?
And I've got a similar note. I'm like, dissension in the ranks? ?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, he tags himself in, and I mean, granted, it pays off in the end that the way it happened, but, I mean, still.
Yeah. If he had lost because of it, that team would be done. It would be done, man. Like, I think the only saving grace is that they win the match. And so we will see if Cedric continues to do things like this.
Yeah, I mean it'll be entertaining to see.
Yeah.
Either way.
I have a feeling that they'll keep the titles for a little bit, and then something's gonna happen. Cedric's gonna do something similar. It's gonna cause them to lose their titles, and Shelton's gonna be fed up with it. And either he's gonna leave the Hurt Business, or he's gonna convince Bobby Lashley and MVP to kick Cedric out of the Hurt Business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that's what we're going to eventually see. And then it'll probably be the crumbling of the Hurt Business down the road whenever they decide to do that. I feel like that's where it's going to lead to. But
probably.
I guess we'll see. And if you guys didn't, pick up on it, the Hurt Business did win this match. They are the new tag team champions. So congratulations to them.
There was something that was said after they win here too that kind of took me back. The fucking commentary table was like they have all the championships on Raw. They don't have all the championships on Raw. They have all the available championships to them.
Like, they have no heavyweight title. Sorry, no. They don't.
And that's the thing. Does this mean they're going to start trying? Is one of them going to target Drew McIntyre?
Yeah.
Is MVP going to try and make himself a heavyweight champion?
Because that's what I was going to say. It's like Bobby Lashley is the U.S. champ. Can you be both the U.S. and a heavyweight? I feel like there was a thing a while back that you couldn't, that they made you pick.
They do like a thing once in a blue moon where like somebody can hold it for like short-term periods together, but at some point you're supposed to vacate one of them.
So like I could almost see Bobby Lashley winning the heavyweight title and then doing almost like a finger poke of doom with MVP for the US. You know what I mean? To keep it in the Hurt business.
I mean, remember that time DX fought each other for the European Championship? Just saying. I mean, it's happened before.
Yeah. So I could easily see that if they want all the titles. Because I'll be honest, I'm sorry, MVP. I like you, but you're not winning the heavyweight championship. Anybody on that team's going to do it. It's going to wind up being given to Bobby Lashley. You know that.
Probably.
That's just the way it is. I'm shocked that it hasn't kind of moved toward that already, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. Speaking of Bobby Lashley, he did come out to celebrate with the guys at the end. But like I said, it was nice to not actually see him in a match. I was totally fine with him coming out because he wasn't in a match. He wasn't beating anybody down. Had a smile on his face. Totally fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, that was an okay appearance.
Yeah. So then we get some backstage stuff. We got Sami Zayn confronting Caleb Braxton, trying to get a name out of her for who leaked that freak out audio of him from the Slammy Awards, from the Slammy Awards incident. We're getting quick thoughts on this at all. I thought it was pretty funny.
I thought it was funny, but I mean, he's so paranoid about something so stupid. Like, I mean, I was just kind of like, whatever. My major takeaway was Caleb Braxton looked fucking hot.
Dude, you ain't kidding, man. You ain't kidding. Yeah, so then we get into the women's tag team match, and that is Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and a mystery opponent, or a mystery partner, I should say, who winds up getting revealed during the match. So apparently, I don't know if this is storyline wise or if she actually got either of these injuries, but it's reported that Lana fractured her elbow and tore her MCL. MCL, for anybody who doesn't know, is a ligament in your knee. It's on the side of your knee. You have the MCL and the LCL are on the outsides of your knee, and the ACL is on the inside. I tore my ACL, so I learned about all of these different things. So I don't know. She posted like an Instagram picture or something recently, like in her like a mobilizer and in a sling. Obviously, if it's storyline, you still want to keep up that story. But here's my thing: if it's storyline, why would you pick such a bad set of injuries? Because that will literally take her out for several weeks. Several weeks. Yep. So honestly, I don't get it. So unless she's actually injured or something's going on.
I have a feeling something's probably going on behind the scenes, contract-wise. But I'm really taken back by this match anyway and the way it played out, because I did not see this match playing out the way it did.
Yeah. I was kind of like, before we actually jump into the whole thing, I was hoping Lana would be in this match, would stay in this match, because I kind of wanted to see a tables match. Because tell me how perfect that would have been.
Well,
she's been put through 1.5 billion tables.
Yeah.
Come on. That would have been perfect. So, yeah, something has to be going on, in the back, behind the scenes with her. In some fashion. So, but yeah, go ahead and get into the actual match.
Well, okay, so it's revealed as the match is starting that Asuka chose the one, the only,
John's favorite,
Charlotte. She ain't my favorite. I was glad to see her back. She looks phenomenal.
Dude, she looked great, and I feel like she hasn't lost a step. You know what I mean?
She hasn't. She's clearly, obviously, been getting herself ready for this match.
Yeah.
It looks like she's had some work done. I'm not going to say on what specifically, but it looks like she's definitely gotten smaller.
Maybe.
But at the same time, this is what upsets me. I understand the storyline to putting Charlotte in this match because Nia Jax took Charlotte out. I get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Josh says, this was Lana's moment. Lana earned this match for her. Like,
yeah, I mean, she beat Nia in a match like just before that pay-per-view, and it's like she was on a roll, man. They were really building her.
Yeah.
So what the fuck happened? Yeah.
And like this match was a good match. It wasn't my favorite match of the night, but this was an okay match.
Yeah.
But the thing that really pisses me off, and not to spoil the ending, Charlotte and Asuka pick up the win. They get the titles. That is Lana's spot. Like, you fucking took a spot from somebody who fucking worked their ass off, went through fucking months of being put through fucking tables just to come back and fucking win a title. Fuck you. Fuck you hard.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. However, Asuka's now a double champ. Just saying. I think that's pretty sweet.
I mean,
but I do agree. I don't think it's fair that she just comes in and boom, here's a title for you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the only other thing I really took away from this match was, and this is horrible, I didn't feel that Nia Jax's attire was a choice.
I didn't want to particularly say it, but I thought it the entire match. Like I was like, it just doesn't look good. It made, this is what I equated to. It has nothing to do with her specifically. It is a big person, not even a female thing, because you look at Otis. I didn't like it when he was in Just the Spanx. Your gear has to look right for your body size.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what gender you are. I don't care. Your gear has to look right for your body size. And it just didn't. It didn't, man.
So, have you ever watched Batman Returns?
Of course.
You know the scene where they showed like the Penguin walking around in like the white jumpsuit, like in
it was like his his pajamas almost. Like,
kind of what I kept seeing in my head is every time she would do something, I'm like, oh, it's Danny DeVito in Batman Returns.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, just I don't know why they went with that choice of gear. Just she's had good gear before.
Yeah.
She's had some great looking gear in the past.
I don't think the black and gold really worked for her.
No. If the colors were inverted, where it was almost all black instead of, because it was like almost all gold. Yeah. If it was the other way around, I think it might have looked better because the black hides some shapes. It just does. As a fat guy, I know black makes you look slimmer. It just is what it is. You get used to that.
Yep.
And yeah, it didn't look good to me. Is unfortunately it was kind of actually distracting while watching the match.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate for her, but it is what it is.
So before we go into talking about the next backstage segment, I want to talk about the little commercial that they did.
I have. Okay, my very first part of this note, literally I have typed out, says WTF. Because that's what I said as I'm watching. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I had to type it down because...
See, this is what I love about you, okay? So this is my notes exactly, like right here. Hold on. New Year promo. What the fuck was someone smoking? Because, like, I'm following it. I'm like, okay, yeah, 2020. Okay. And then everybody's beating the hell out of 2020. And then they're like, oh my God, what is this? And then it's like 2021. And I'm like,
yep. It was terrible, man. It was so bad.
It was. So I'm like, okay.
I almost I almost like grabbed that clip to like show, but I was like, I don't want to get flagged by the WWE for showing their fucking video. Because I was like, we got to watch this terrible thing again. But
that's all I really wanted to say about it was that I don't know what the hell somebody was smoking that they thought that was a great fucking idea, but okay.
I don't know, but I wouldn't mind sharing a little bit of that, if you know what I'm saying.
All right, so then we go backstage and we get R-Truth and Big E Langston talking to one another, and they're talking about like they were talking about the R-Truth and a bunch of stuff, and they were laughing at something on Big E's phone, and then Sami Zayn walks up and accuses Big E of being the one to leak the audio to Kayla.
Yeah.
And Big E essentially, in a lack of words, tells him, "Fuck off, I don't give a shit."
Yeah, seriously. And I have in my notes here, this is before I saw anything from any other like from Raw or anything that's happened since then. I literally wrote in my notes, Big E is obviously about to get an IC title push.
Yep. And he did. I mean,
because you can just, they're not trying to hide it. You know what I mean? They're just not.
We might as well talk about it over here since it fits. On SmackDown, Big E Langston won the Intercontinental Championship from Sami Zayn. I believe this is his second IC title run. Yeah. So, I mean, good for him.
Yeah. So, I mean, they essentially bring it up after after the next match.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're talking about it now. We might as well talk about it. They announced after the Universal title match that Big E, because he pinned Sami in the 8-man tag during the pre-show, that he earned a title match at the Christmas edition of SmackDown. And he did manage to win that title. It was a lumberjack match, and he is now the Intercontinental Championship.
Woo-hoo.
And some other things happened on there, which we can talk about after, because it kind of involves the match that we haven't talked about yet. But I'll talk about the other two things that happened after we go through that match. But yeah, Big E now the Intercontinental Champion, and dude, I called that shit. He's gonna get an IC title push, and then boom, he got himself a match like right after, like 20 minutes later, and then winds up getting the win. You know what? A week after
they're making predictions.
Mm-hmm. That's rare, but I got myself a good prediction.
All right. So next up is the Men's SmackDown Championship match. It's the Men's TLC Part 2, featuring champ Roman Reigns taking on Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that's right. KO.
Now, cue me up because it's coming. You ready?
Uh-oh. It's coming, and it's coming in hot. It's none other than...
Let me tell you something, brother. I was going to save this for the main event, but I think that this match deserves it more.
Okay.
This match opened with a fucking ball of fire.
Who did it, man? That's an understatement.
Kevin Owens didn't an entrance. He just fucking blindsided Roman from behind, and he was like, boom! I was like, oh my God.
Dude. Within the first, 2 minutes, he fucking frog splashed him on the outside. I'm like, fuck, man, they're going for it here.
Yeah. And
they're not fucking around.
There was nothing held back in this match at all. They put everything on the line. The only major issue I had with the match, and it's right here in my notes, is that they only waited 2 minutes to involve Jey Uso before Jey Uso got involved, and essentially made this match a 2-on-1. Now, you and I were talking about this. This match, and no offense to Roman Reigns and what he's doing as head of the table right now, but this match made Roman Reigns look weak as fuck.
Totally, man, because we talked about this a little bit off air, but I have written down Kevin Owens would have easily won this match if Jey Uso had not been involved, because he was dominant the entire time. It was just him, where Jey wasn't trying to do some shit. It was the Kevin Owens show, man. The whole fucking time.
The Kevin Owens show.
Yeah, all fucking day.
Now,
yeah.
That being said, the whole Roman Reigns being a bitch in this match, I understand. Like they're pushing like because they even showed during like the build-up promo. Kevin says to him, "It doesn't seem like what you would do for your family, but what your family does for you." Yeah. Essentially saying like he's cowering behind his family, and this match really put that into perspective. Now, you had brought something up when we were talking about the match at the beginning, that it's the WWE Championship is a placeholder spot, and he is the real champion of the company. He's only the real champion of the company right now because he's got people fighting his battles for him. And it's sad to say that, but they're making Roman, like, as much as I really like what they're doing with the storyline, they are making him look so weak that at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, it's going to be a 2-on-1. It's going to be a fucking unfair fight. Of course.
Here's the thing. Like, you want to, what you want to do is you want to be able to involve people like Jey Uso, but not make it seem like that's the only fucking way that Roman can win.
Yeah.
And that's what they did here. And that's the reason that he looks like a weak-ass bitch.
Yeah.
Is because it literally, if you take Jey Uso out, you could not convince me that Roman Reigns would have won that match. Well, no fucking way.
In this match where I noticed it too, like Roman, he was putting himself in like some very like big spots, like where like things would happen, and then like he's down for like 3-4 minutes, and then Jay has to like pick up the pieces. And I know that's how it's made to look, but like there's the moment where if Kevin Owens, when he power bombs Jay through the comm table,
that pop-up power bomb.
Dude, I love the pop-up powerbomb. Mm-hmm. But had he not wasted the time covering him and throwing shit on top of him, if he would have just powerbombed him and made his way into the ring, he could have won the match.
He could have. Yeah, no, I get that. But obviously they were giving Roman time for whatever.
Yeah.
But, there's one spot in this that I want to mention specifically. And we'll talk about it later. I'm gonna give you guys a little spoiler here because I'm picking it. I don't care. It's when Roman Reigns spears the fucking guardrail and just fucking destroys it.
Yeah, that was. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Like,
that's the spot right there. That's the moment for me. When Roman Reigns, full speed, spears the guardrail and just destroys the fucking guardrail.
Yeah.
And then within 60 seconds, gets up and stops Kevin Owens from fucking getting the fucking title.
Honestly, I thought the ending was pretty well done. The guillotine on top of the ladder, and then he just kind of like disposes of his body.
Yeah.
Obviously, Roman Reigns retains his championship due to the help. I'm saying it straightforward. He only won because Jey Uso fucking helped him.
Seriously, that's the only reason. And I mean, he did put Kevin Owens through like 87 fucking tables or whatever. But Kevin Owens doesn't die. No. You know what I mean?
Fight.
Exactly. And he proved that in this match, man. I want to see more. Like, you don't see a lot of him pay-per-view rise. You know, we haven't gotten much of Kevin Owens.
No.
So I like that we're getting it seems like we're going to be getting a good program. For Kevin Owens. I'm actually really really happy about that.
Fingers crossed.
Like you said, Roman Reigns retains his title, and so this is where. On SmackDown, they had a rematch in a steel cage.
Yeah.
And, of course, Jey Uso got involved and handcuffs Kevin Owens to the cage and allowing Roman Reigns to get out, go out the door to keep his title. But because as I was watching this, after it all ended and everything, I was like, you know what? It's like, put these two fuckers in a cage. they could just settle it 1-on-1. And even that doesn't fucking work because Jey Uso still gets fucking involved.
Yep.
You know, I was like, God damn it. I was really like, when I read that, I was really pissed about it because it's just like I get what you're doing with Roman Reigns, but don't fucking shit on Kevin Owens to let it happen. You know, I don't know.
Agreed.
And then there was one other thing I wanted to mention from that edition of SmackDown. Asuka and Charlotte retained in a triple threat elimination match against Sasha and Bianca Belair and Bayley and Carmella. Kind of weird sets of teams, but you know, intriguing nonetheless. But it seems like they're really cementing this Asuka Charlotte thing, having them have another title match, you know, less than a week after the pay-per-view, and just to do that. So I don't know. I don't know if you have any thoughts on any of that, but if not, we can just move right into some of the next. They showed the Firefly Carol right before the main event, which I thought was cool. It was fun. I mean, they showed it during the pre-show, but it was nice to see it again. But all right, John, I'm going to let you intro this final match.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's talk about the main event. The first ever Firefly Inferno match. And it's between Randy Orton and the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Now, you wanted chaos. You wanted destruction. You wanted hardcore action. Well, that all happened in the last match. Because this match started out with no fire. And it pissed me off. Like, I'm like, where the fuck is the fire? This is supposed to be an Inferno match. And they waited almost 5 fucking minutes before they even kicked the fire on. And I'm like, well, what if I wanted to chuck my opponent out of the ring immediately and set him on fire? Well, I guess I can't. This match, though, was phenomenal. I'm not going to shit on this match. I know a lot of people had a problem with the ending of this match. I did not. I thought this match did exactly what it needed to do. Because there's no way. I mean, yes, you can have an Inferno match and somebody gets set on fire. But you cannot go the route where Randy Orton went at the end of this match and have it be where Randy Orton wasn't in jail for setting someone on fucking fire.
Yeah. So you also couldn't do this specific match with an audience because the thing that I loved about this version of the Inferno match, it wasn't the ring that was on fire. It was all around the guardrails. It had fucking like spiral posts of fire.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that because it allowed them to do more. They could get in and out of the ring, do stuff on ringside, and not have to worry about fucking setting themselves on fire. Do moves in the corner, off the rope, whatever. Yeah. I liked it. I loved it. I loved the style of it.
It really opened up the environment and allowed them to be able to do more. And I mean, don't get me wrong, because I mean, we've seen matches where Taker and Kane have gotten out of an Inferno match. Taker dove over the ropes and everything and stuff. But I mean,
true.
Don't get me wrong. I like however it played out, and this just happened to play out really well. And I mean, there were amazing moments, like Randy Orton almost getting set on fire in the rocking chair.
Dude, that rocking chair spot was so cool. I loved it. Just like he's in there, and just like right at the last second, he gets his ass up out of that fucking chair.
Dude,
like you have to time that.
Yeah.
Like if he waited just slightly too long, nope.
Well, you know what I thought was funny?
What?
So Bray pours the gas on the chair and then sets Randy Orton down. And I'm thinking to myself, you're absolutely right, because had he waited just a second too long, his pants got soaked in gas. Mm-hmm. Gas lights off the fumes, not just the fucking fluid.
Yeah.
So had he been too close,
I don't think they used gas. I think they're using kerosene personally.
Could have been lighter fluid though too.
It could have been. Well, lighter fluid burns away really quickly.
True.
I think they're using kerosene because it only lights the liquid.
That is true.
You know what I mean? And you could also, because kerosene's colored, right? Isn't it red?
Yeah.
If you looked at all the weapons, they had a red liquid on them.
That is true. And I was just getting to that. One of my favorite moments of the night, because I was getting a drink and I hear, it's Randy Orton with the axe handle. And I'm like, when did Randy Orton start using a fucking axe handle as a move? Like, that's a fucking random move. And I turn around, and he's holding and it took me a minute to realize it was a fucking axe handle.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh, that's perfect, man. That's awesome. That's great.
So then, I mean, what are your thoughts on this match?
I mean, I thought it was. I loved it personally. I thought it was really well done. Like I said, I love the format of it. Better than the typical Inferno match. It had some great spots, like you mentioned, that flaming rocking chair spot. The pickaxe was fucking cool.
The pickaxe was a nice touch.
Yeah, just all the all the various weapons. I gotta also say, I want that Legend Killer hoodie. It's pretty sweet looking. Just saying.
Yeah,
I dig the shit out of it. And then fucking The Fiend just getting set on fire. And then Randy Orton RKOing him while he's on fucking fire.
Yeah.
He just boom right there while he's on fire. I was like,
oh yeah.
Okay. I like this. The thing was, though, he gets set on fire. And I'm sitting there like, why is the bell not being rang?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
The match is over. He was set on fire. That's the end. Where's the fucking bell? I'm sitting like, what is happening? Am I wrong? Is something else going on? I don't understand why they didn't ring the bell.
Yeah, I don't know. Because they didn't even ring the bell after he like toasted him either.
Yeah, I don't understand the point of them. Like, all they had to do was ring the bell and he could have continued to do what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, and so that kind of was like, it kind of took me out. I was like, well, what is going on? And then he fucking just pours gasoline, or what's supposed to be gasoline, all over the Fiend, and then just fucking lights his ass on fire. I actually got a picture here. Hold on, let me take the banner away real quick so you can actually see it all. Look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. Now,
for people complaining about that moment, you have to realize if Randy Orton would have done that spot for real, that would have been attempted murder. Yeah.
And because I was like, well, how are they going to do this? I was like, is there like a stunt guy in there, who was in the Fiend mask and all that stuff? And then he's got him down, and he pours it like all over the mask, all over his skin and face. And I'm just like, and then they pan back, like they take like a wide shot, and you can kind of tell that his arm is almost like a fake color, like a fake skin color, if you are really looking. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is just a dummy. And then he legit lights him on fire like that. I was like, okay, it's a dummy. And I was like, I don't care that it's a dummy because it looked awesome. Like I thought it was, and like that shows you that they did a really convincing job of making it believable that this is something that could happen. And so I gotta say bravo, because I did. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I wish it had been a little bit longer personally, but I get it. It's dangerous. You just got fire everywhere. You know what I mean? I'm sure they didn't want to do it too long. And it's also probably the reason why it's the last match, so that they don't have to deal with taking all that stuff down to get to the next match and everything. So I get it, but I loved it. John, what about you? What were your overall thoughts on that match?
No, man. I mean, you pretty much nailed it on the head, man. That match was everything I expected it to be, plus a little bit. Yeah. I was shocked. I was sad that there wasn't a little bit more action to it, but I mean, for what it was a great match. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about our nitty gritties for the night, sir. All right. So, what is your worst match of the night, John? Sadly, I went with a route that I'm sad to say this. I went with the women's championship. Yeah. not because it was a bad match overall, but because I really thought that this match should have had a stipulation on it, and because of Carmella's wardrobe malfunction. Those couple things just really drew me back far enough that I was just kind of like, eh. Not to mention the constant interference from Reginald. I'm like, eh. And no offense to no offense to Carmella or Sasha Banks. Someone had to have the worst match of the night, and it just happened to be them.
Yeah, that was my pick too. I was bouncing between that and the pre-show match. I liked the pre-show match, but it could have been better.
Yeah,
but yeah, I settled on the same match as you. So unfortunately, like I said, it wasn't a bad match.
No,
it was just the worst of what we had.
Yep.
And, that happens. So who was your MVP for the night? Who was it, in fact, MVP?
It was not. As a matter of fact, I chose somebody who had a real will not die attitude that night. I picked Kevin Owens.
Yes, thank you. Yes. As we were talking about that match, because I hadn't decided. And as we're talking about that match, it just I was like, that's who it's got to be.
I'm sorry, he fought two people, not just one, and not like the WWE Championship match where it was a triple threat. This was a legit 2-on-1 where he kept having to fight two different fucking guys. Yeah. He fucking made himself look good while making both of them look phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he might not have won the championship, but he got really close.
He did. And I wouldn't be surprised if, down the road we see him pick up that title. We'll see though.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
what was your moment of the night, sir?
Well, my moment we talked a bit about Roman Reigns spearing that fucking guardrail and just destroying that fucking shit. He hit that shit so goddamn hard, man. I was not I've seen people do that spot before. Take out. It never looks like that. I'm just saying. I've never seen it look.
Usually try to slow down a little bit first.
Dude, man, he was like a bullet train, and that thing just like the dude who was back there just fucking jumped out of the
Dude, that
you saw metal flying out of it. I was like, holy shit, man. Yeah, so that was mine.
Different route. I went with the Fiend being set on fire.
I thought about it too. That was kind of I was bouncing around. That was one of my initial thoughts was to pick that. I kind of thought you might go for it, so I was like, I'm gonna go for something a little different.
That was just an awesome moment. Like I said, I don't care if it was a fucking dummy. He couldn't literally set someone on fire without having ramifications for that. So I get why they made the choice they did.
Yeah,
and it's gonna make the storyline fucking better anyway.
Yeah, because what's gonna happen when the Fiend returns? You know what I mean? It ain't he ain't gone. You can't kill this fucking thing. You just can't. He's gonna return, and Randy Orton is going to be sorry.
True.
So yeah. All right, and here's the final, John. Best match of the night.
I'm pretty sure you and I are on the same page for this one. As much as I loved the Firefly Inferno match, I did not choose that one. I chose the SmackDown Men's TLC match.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll be honest, as we were talking through the Inferno match, I almost switched it. But yeah,
it was a great match.
I was like, no, I'm gonna stick with the choice that I made. And yeah, that Universal, that SmackDown Men's Championship match.
Dude. Anybody who listens to this podcast knows that I'm a Firefly through and through. I love Bray Wyatt. I love what Bray Wyatt does. But I honestly thought that the story told in the Universal Championship match just pushed it a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't have the actual doll sitting out here, so I had to show the picture.
Oh, man. But yeah, so that was my choice, was the Universal. I know you chose the Universal. Yes. Now, overall, I know we do it sometimes. I know we don't.
Yeah, sometimes we forget.
If you were going to put a grade on this pay-per-view, how would you grade it?
I think I think I would give this like a 4.25-ish, somewhere in that range. Not quite a 4.5, but not as low as a 4. So that's why I'm going with a 4.25. Because there was some stuff that I think could have been better. I think the placement of a few matches just didn't feel like the fact that the WWE title match was at the beginning and the Universal wasn't the actual main event. I understand, and especially after we talked about how that they've been doing that with the first match, it didn't feel right. And then I understand why the Inferno match was last, but again, it didn't quite feel like that's what should. I don't know. It just felt off. So I had to dock a little bit for that. And sorry, Carmella, you cost at least 1/4 point for those shitty legging things.
That's fair. I had it already written on my paper. I gave it a 4.25. Solid.
Oh, nice.
Mainly because I think if the women's match had more to it of like a stipulation. Also, the fact that I was just really pissed off that Lana was taken off of television to bring back Charlotte, and then they're going to win the titles anyway. It's
neither of the women's matches blew me away.
No, and I wasn't like that. I needed more of that.
Yeah, and that affects the score. You know what I mean? It really does.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's pretty solid. You know,
I mean,
4.25 is solid. It's not like the best thing. It's we've seen some damn good pay-per-views, some better than that pay-per-views, but it's still solid. Worth the watch, absolutely. So if you guys haven't checked out TLC, why the fuck are you watching this right now? I don't know. Why have you gotten this deep into an almost at least 2.5 hour podcast? I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing if you haven't watched it yet. So go watch it if you haven't.
Now, really quickly, Josh, if they wanted to check out other stuff from you, where could they check you out?
You can find me online. You can find me at Twitter at JP Rayner. You can also find me. Where is it? No, there it is. Actually, no, my mic's right here. Just point at my mic. At Movie Blog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my website, Merc with Movie Blog. You can also just check me out, mercwithmovieblog.com. And also, if you're a fan of DC Comics, check out DC Comics News on all the social medias. And John, what about you?
Well, I am. Well, mine's the opposite. Mine's not under mine. I am available at Twitter at Simply Sane J1, where I have a podcast of my own. It's called Simply Sane with Jay. I haven't updated in a while. I really need to do a new episode. Been slacking. I've had a lot of stuff going on though with the holidays and stuff like that. Just kind of took me out of the season. Plus, Brodie's passing really fucked with Matt a little bit.
Yeah.
But I am available on Twitter. I am available on Facebook. If you want to reach out to us, let us know what the hell's going on. You can still find us on Patreon at Off the Ropes JJ.
Yes.
You can find us on Twitter at Off the Ropes JJ.
Speaking of our Patreon, we do have a video up there on our Patreon. It is our first retro match review. We talked about it on the last episode. It is WrestleMania 8 Intercontinental Championship between Bret Hart and Roddy Piper. So be sure to sign up for the Patreon. All levels, all the tiers get access to that video. And we'll be doing a new one this month. We also are going to be doing a top 10. We haven't decided on the category yet, but we will be doing a top 10 at some point before the month is over. So be sure to check out patreon.com/offtheropesjj and sign up because it would really help us out. I gotta say.
Again, if you go on Patreon and you don't see something that you might be interested in, please reach out to us, talk to us like a human being, because we want to make you, the fans, happy. Help us, help you. Help us, help you.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, honestly, because I know this is how he is, show him the money. show him the money.
Show me all the money. And if you don't like Patreon, you can just, cash at me a little bit, a little something, something.
And absolutely.
You want to send us $10-$20? We'll just do a video for you. You tell us what it is. We'll just do it. We'll make it happen.
A new Sexy Boys video. We will do one this month, and I'm putting this right now. $5. We will
Sexy
make
Boys body spray
video for $5.
Yeah, you want it? Make it happen. You can send it to either that one or this one. I don't care. Just do it, and we'll make that video. It'd be awesome.
And if you send us $5 for the video, just put in the notes Sexy Boys 2.
Sexy Boys 2. Absolutely. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to, one final time, give a rest in peace, Jon Huber, Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, however you guys know him, an amazing guy, and, you will be missed. So love you, brother. And this has been episode 21 of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I am Josh.
I'm John.
And we are down for the count. Catch you guys next time.